Hey, what's happening, folks? This is Casey Jewett here.
Hello, I'm Brandon Watson.
I've been in the brewing industry for about 6 years now. I've worked for Megaton, Ingenious Brewing Company.
I've been in the craft industry for the last 3 years. I started at Backview and I've been with Megaton as the sales manager for the last year and a half.
I've been a sales rep for Deca Beer Co. for about a year now, and I also run their social media accounts.
I'm the creator of a local Houston-made drinking card game called F Your Liver. Welcome to the Beer Someone podcast. Hello and welcome to the Beer Someone podcast. I'm Brandon. I'm here with Casey. How you doing, Casey?
What up? Doing good. How's it going?
And we are here at 8th Wonder Brewing with Harvey. Harvey, what's your last name again?
My last name is Melchor.
Melchor.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We're happy to have you on, man.
We are excited.
I'm excited to be here, guys. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys reaching out. Yeah, it's been really cool to hear about what you guys are doing. So awesome to be a part of it, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
8th Wonder holds a special place in my heart.
Same.
I want to tell my 8th Wonder story, and I'm going to let Casey talk about his experiences with 8th Wonder, and then we're going to really get into you and learn about current 8th Wonder, because I know you have a lot to say.
Okay, yeah.
But I just want to say personally that I don't know, how long has 8th Wonder been open for?
We're hitting the 13-year mark this November coming up.
13?
Yep.
Okay. So I think it was like 12 years ago.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Y'all have probably been open almost a year or something. And I was just getting out of the Army, and me and my friend Christina were going to thrift stores. We hit like 10 thrift stores in the downtown area.
Speaking my language.
Yeah. And we were looking for a food truck, and we were just driving around, couldn't find one. We were just driving around looking for food trucks. And this was before you could find food trucks everywhere.
Right.
And but then we saw one. It was called Eatsy Boys, and we walked up to Eatsy Boys, and I ordered a grilled chicken sandwich. And they're like, "Hey, you know, there's a brewery right behind this place. Like literally, we're up against this wall. This wall is the brewery. If you walk in there, they sell beer that they make there." And I'm like, "I got to go try that out." Keep in mind, I'd never been to a brewery before. And
okay, so this is like your first.
This is my first
brewery experience. Yeah.
And I walked in and I ordered a Rocket Fuel, which is still one of my favorite beers on the planet, and it blew my mind. A Vietnamese coffee porter. I got to get one of those, and I fucking liked it. And I was like, it just became a spot for me. So, next couple years, I was here. I'm wearing a third
Dude, I see
anniversary
that, man.
shirt on right now.
Truth be told, I've never seen that shirt. You've
never seen this?
I've never seen that shirt.
It's a really
pretty
cool
rad
shirt.
shirt.
That is a great.
I didn't even know they were
custom
selling
shirt.
these shirts because they didn't have them like a place where you could buy them. I saw like all the staff wearing them. I'm like, how can I get one of those? Because I had to have it. I was also the 2nd year anniversary. I was talking to Casey. He was here as well.
Yeah, I was at the 2nd anniversary party. Came here quite a bit when it first opened at the other location. So my band that I was in for a while, we had a practice studio at Francisco's, which is literally right across the street. And so I think we moved in and realized, I don't know what happened first, if we knew there was a brewery here or not. I can't remember, but I know that we started coming here a lot. And then me and my wife have been here tons of times. I've got posts on my old parts of my Instagram.
He was showing them all to me.
Yeah, I was like going through my old Instagram. I was like, wow, I posted a lot of pictures from here, a lot of just bottle caps and just beers and just, good times hanging out here. I also have a music video with that band that we did for one song that we really dug our heels into. It was called "Dancing with the Dead of Night." I think you can find it on YouTube. But
you shot a video here?
We shot parts of the video at the old location.
Oh,
nice. I can't remember what year it was that we did it. It was the same year that same-sex marriages became federally illegal.
Okay.
Pride that year. So we added the Pride Parade and lots of the Pride elements into the video, and then we also were just hanging out at 8th Wonder, drinking and hanging out. So
That's
like
rad,
just
dude.
shots of us hanging out in there. So yeah, that it was. It's always been a special place to me too. The Celebration was where I first discovered the Suffers and the Wild Moccasins, which are two really cool Houston bands.
Absolutely,
So I listen to
Absolutely
those
love
bands.
both of those bands.
Yeah.
So after me and Casey recorded the first Beer Someone podcast with James over at City Acre, we went back to his garage and hung out and talked about the possibilities for the podcast. And one of the things that we both really liked was doing 8th Wonder 8th. So this is our 8th podcast at 8th Wonder.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know you like 8th too. We were just talking about that. Yeah, all the beers at HEB, I don't know if it's still this way, but because I don't buy a lot of beer. I don't go grocery stores a lot. But I know it was 88 for a long time. Is it still 88 now?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you about raising prices.
No,
Everybody is.
Well, I mean, we're living in an economy to where
Yeah.
Inflated
that
time.
tends to be an ongoing horrible
Right.
issue.
Yeah.
But
If you can do it at a certain medium, that's kind of nice. It's kind of fun to do stuff like that. I know y'all.
Oh,
there was
for
a point
sure,
when
for
the
sure, yeah.
IP8 first came out, and it was like I think 8%, 88 IBUs, and it was what else? What was the other thing? Like 8%, 88 by IBUs. I can't remember what the other. It was IP8 though, and it had all these 8s that were part of the whole deal, and I was like, this is really cool, and I just think that's kind of fun to do stuff like that.
Yeah, so we still have the IP8 that's going strong. In terms
But
of
it's a different
like,
recipe, right?
Yes, yeah. So this will be like a more smoother, like kind of along the lines of a single like style West Coast. But you still get like the hops, not as like bitterness and earthy. It's a little more smoother on the end, like on the finish. But it's doing really well in the tap room. But just going back on the whole like, still having that same mentality of trying to make things, well priced and just like consumer friendly in the tap room. We very much still like pride ourselves for doing that.
I didn't ask you. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
What is your position here at 8th Wonder?
Started. I've been here for almost about 3 years now.
Yeah.
About on that 2.5 mark. Started
You've been
off
here
as
the
just-
entire time they've been with Bayou City Hemp. Were you here before that?
Yeah, so I came like a little after that. I mean, the merge wasn't too far along by the time I joined. With that being said, I've got to see all the really cool changes and the new additions to just the menu itself and just, what we have to offer,
I love old school 8th Wonder. Me and Kate, we were just talking about how much we loved old school 8th Wonder. I really do love new school 8th Wonder.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the THC stuff yet.
Just, yeah.
But
Right,
I want to say that I dig it and I like what y'all are doing with
Same.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
But
yeah.
one of my favorite things, other than everything being with 8, is y'all are super Houston. You definitely have a
Pretty much
vibe
so.
going on in
Yeah,
here. I'm very pro Houston.
Yeah, no, I am too. And that's one of the things I really loved about the brewery when I first started coming here was like I love the names like Brewston and Hopston, and I loved it.
yeah.
And Brewston was so good. And I remember I was just getting into IPAs, and that was kind of more of like almost like a pale ale. It wasn't super hoppy, really, really smooth. I want to say, do you remember the Brewston?
The Brewston was before my time. I did move back to Houston around 2012, when everything was kicking off. I mean,
Okay.
I feel like the craft beer scene in Houston in general around that time was exploding.
Exploding, yeah.
This is like basically what...
It sounds like it hit us all around the sector.
Exactly.
Maybe
Yeah.
Casey a little
Like, it
bit
really
before,
did, yeah,
but
man.
yeah.
So I definitely saw that surgence. And,
Yeah.
like 8th Wonder was, like around for...
And I loved
that time
Rocket
seeing
Fuel, and then I was coming here a lot, trying just whatever was on tap. I love some of the small batch stuff that I got to try over the years, and man, I just really enjoyed it. I have a Hopston shirt. I still have
Very
it.
cool.
I used to
Yeah.
have the Rocket Fuel shirt with the old rocket symbol thing.
And with the keg as
You
like,
can find
part of the
pictures
rocket,
of me wearing it. I just don't know where it is. It was my favorite shirt.
Yeah, man, share it with us. Yeah, that's I mean, like I feel like we have so many cool like relics at this point of the past in terms of either our merch wear or just like glassware in general. Like I have a buddy that literally has probably every glass that was ever like
I have a
issued from the
bunch.
brewery.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of old St. Arnold, old 8th Wonder,
Yeah.
old Carbach glasses. Like that's mostly what I
And they'll
have.
have
Yeah, man, those are super cool to
seats
hold
from
on
the
to.
Astrodome. Astrodome
Yeah.
seats.
Yeah.
Y'all still have them, right?
We still have them. Yeah,
they're
they're
right
actually
back
right
here,
behind
yeah.
you. They're within the tap room. We have
I'll come
them,
up
like,
here
within our event
sometimes
room.
when I'm just trying to figure out my work shit.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit in them and drink
Just
it.
chill. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
comfortable
man.
chairs.
They're good.
They're still holding up. They're
Yeah.
still comfy. We
Yeah.
haven't had any issues with them. But
That's
yeah,
cool.
man, they're just like great to see every time
Dude.
I walk in here in the morning.
Yeah.
Just like cool. It's a little
Yeah.
piece of history within our
Dude, there's
own
a
dome.
vibe here. There's a reason I wanted to put you in front of the pinball machines. It's because you look like a fucking badass right now.
Well, I do try to be a badass on the pinballs myself. So
No, and you're doing
I think I
stuff
can hold
with
my
the
own, but yeah.
pinball
Right on.
machines. I was in the bathroom. There was a flyer. You're doing a pinball tournament.
Yeah, so we actually just had that last night. We do it every third Thursday of the month. Shout out to our dudes, John and Taylor, that run it. They're also the owners of the machines. Super cool guys, man. They put together this this tournament, like I said, every third Thursday of the month.
Nice.
So we always get a good turnout. You know, we got like 16 to like 20 people that are like legit pinball wizards.
Really? That's great,
I'm
man.
no
And
pinball wizard, but I'll come up here and spend $5 pretty quick.
It's free to sign up. It's free to play if you want to join at any point.
It's a solid event, man.
Just
That's
come through,
really
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I'd be like the guy at the gym that just like is shy and doesn't want to work around all the buff guys. Playing pinball, I'd just be like, I love pinball. I suck at pinball.
Yeah, I'm not great at it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like playing it.
Yeah.
You have some cool ones here, though. You got Rick and Morty, Halloween,
pretty solid
Metallica, The Simpsons, Creature of the Black Lagoon, Ninja Turtles, X-Men, and Godzilla.
Yeah, so the X-Men Uncanny is actually a newer machine that just got released at the end of
I
last
played
year.
it. It's awesome.
It is awesome, man. Like
Nice.
that machine is just a work of art in itself. But I mean, yeah, I'm a huge fan of literally everything we have here. Huge fan of the Ninja Turtles in general in terms of just collecting and all that. But yeah, we can get into that a whole other day.
I'm a fan of all Halloween. Oh my gosh, Rick and Morty. I love this shit.
That's my favorite machine to play, or at least in
The
my
Halloween?
opinion,
It's
the
a
most
fun
fun.
one.
Yeah, Halloween.
It's a knife. The thing you pull back.
It's a knife, yeah. So
Yeah.
like the knife handle, you
Yeah.
pull it back.
Oh, that's cool.
But I also just love how they do show clippings, like scenes from the actual movie in between turns and stuff. So super
That's
dope,
cool.
super dope.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're talking about the vibe and the things here. We can't not talk about the Beatles
Yeah.
statues.
Oh man, yeah.
The
so Beatles
massive
statues, yeah.
Beatles statues
Yeah.
in
I mean,
the back.
that has been a staple here. I mean, that's a big draw in for like tourists. You know, I feel like a lot of people we meet here at Eighth Wonder literally brings in people from all over, like whether it's the States or out of the States, you know?
Yeah.
Generally, the most people I meet and talk to are not from Houston, so it's really
Yeah.
nice. We are pretty nearby the convention center, so whenever we have things happening over there, we usually will see
Get some overflow?
Yeah,
I'll
some
park
overflow
here.
from that.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when I was doing Comic Palooza with F Your Liver, like I would park here. I would go drop off my stuff, and I would just free parking.
Yeah. Nice. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
He's like, oh, don't do it again. I'm gonna tell you next time.
We'll talk off the record.
Yeah, right. Off record. Yeah, yeah, man. I think another thing I liked was the artwork too. You guys always had really cool artwork inside and outside. I know for a time there was a lot of graffiti art on the other side of this, on the other side of the driveway here.
Just like across the street, like a little diagonal from us, there is a graffiti wall and just like an art wall in general.
Yeah.
That it's also really
Draws a
great
lot of
to
people.
view. I mean, we're surrounded by like a really awesome area in terms of just
You
like,
definitely have
seeing-
some great atmosphere here. It's
Really cool street
definitely-
art out here.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
definitely a vibe. And it's, yet again, I don't want to get into it, but when I like my mind to be stimulated when I'm high.
Oh, gotcha.
And,
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
we're going to get high on this podcast.
Hey man, we'll go through a few samples. We'll try a few things.
I
yeah.
would love to. But I like atmosphere. I like to throw myself into it, and you can definitely do that here.
100%, man.
Yeah.
This is history, man.
Yeah, I mean, again, and just in the area that we're in, at one point, Eighth Wonder was really the only new kids on the block. It was still very much an up and coming area, per se, in terms of having like bars and just the restaurants and eateries and.
You take a lot of
and
pride
shit.
in being the GM
Yeah,
of
man.
Eighth
Well,
Wonder. This brewery that we're talking about, so much history, so
tap
much.
room manager, lead. It is really cool just because like I said, I moved back in 2012. When it seemed to really be a huge thing at the time for craft beer itself and just breweries. And so coming here as a guest at one point, as a younger lad, hanging with the homies.
When was
and
the
stuff,
first time you came to Eighth Wonder?
Oh man, so I would say like I moved away in my early 20s, but like when I came back, it was probably around 2013ish when I started to like come, as a guest, and walking into this place being like, oh man, in terms of like Houston like lore and all that, I'm a kid from like the 90s, so I grew up with the Rockets era, 94,
We've
95,
had very many 90-based conversations, me and you,
Yeah,
and
like-
getting to know
like
you over the
personally,
last
yeah.
couple of years.
Yeah.
And I'd love to talk about that.
Of
but
course,
yeah,
of course, yeah.
But
I hold it near and dear.
that's cool, man. Being in the brewery scene, I always thought that when I got into beer, and I've only been in beer for like 3 years now, if I'm being
Gotcha,
honest.
okay, yeah.
But I always kind of thought I would work for Eighth Wonder, and because it's always been such a
Right.
huge place for
I wanted
me.
my band to play here. I tried.
Hey,
I
we can still
emailed
do
a
that,
lot, and I never got a response. But also, we didn't really have a huge following. We were just like a band that were having fun. But I did email whoever I could that I could get an email for. I was like,
I know
please
a
let
guy
us play
that
here.
can help out.
So y'all still have live music?
Yeah. We actually so actually tomorrow, like for example, we have live music along with 50 vendors that are scheduled to be here in our
That's the way
entire
to do it,
backyard,
man.
You know,
Hell yeah.
Y'all got you.
That's awesome.
Y'all have gotten some big acts to perform here at Eighth Wonder.
Yeah, but then also tying in the vendors, that's kind of the name of the game now. It's like bringing these market vendors in. It really kind of helps build that kind of community aspect, that community vibe.
Yeah,
and that's what we're all about.
And that is one thing I did really admire about this place. You know, it was very like community oriented. It was very local
Y'all
based.
have always done markets,
and it was a shout out to just Houston in general, man. You know, and it's good to see that or know that because Houston very much so is on the map now. You know, like you hear anything between celebrities to just like athletes, everything, always likes talking about Houston, and it helps that our sports teams are killing it as well, that adds a little flair to it all. But just to know that history and see these guys do like their events in the past, knowing that that's what this place is known for is really great to be a part of.
That's awesome.
And now to see us go, which we'll tap in later, in a new direction in the beverage world.
Yeah,
it's exciting to be a part of.
It is exciting,
and I totally support it, 100%.
But for the bands that we're just talking about, you do have them how frequently? Because I know during the summertime, probably not so much.
Yeah, we have to battle the Texas hellish heat. And
it's
all
insane.
That, but, so we generally are doing music every time we have a major event. We just had our 420 event back in April.
Nice.
Not too long ago.
I've seen Paul Wall here for one of those events.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would love to see that again. We have a block party coming up in May.
It might have been the Slab thing. I'm not sure, but it was one of those events.
Y'all don't make that beer anymore, man.
No, so Slab is no longer in the catalog. We have gone through a few newer brewers within the past year or so. But our new brewer, he's been working on some newer items. We have a Belgium series that's out right now.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of the Belgian stuff. If you like Belgian beers, there's a lot of them on tap here, and I hear a lot of people say this. They don't realize that there's beer on tap here.
Yeah.
I've heard that. People are like, they still make beer?
Well, they've
And I'm
never
like,
stopped
man.
making.
But people don't realize that. They think that they've
fuel.
gone full THC. So I told people recently, I was here recently with you trying the THC
here all the
stuff,
time, by the way.
and I was like, there's Belgian stuff on tap. I saw it, and there's plenty of beer on
We have
tap.
everything from light, malty, hoppy, dark, you name it. So yeah, just come on out.
And this
try
pills is delicious. This is really good, crushable
try it?
pills. Yeah, absolutely,
that's actually
man.
what I sip on.
Sorry, it's chill pills.
Take a chill pills.
Take a chill
is
pills.
the
Take a
official
chill
title
pills.
for that one. Yeah.
So is that a newer beer?
It's like newer. I want to say we definitely released it last year. Probably around the same time.
Are y'all doing dome foam anymore?
Yeah, Dome Foam is on tap as we speak.
Okay.
I
now,
actually
so-
pulled up because I wanted to go over the beers that you guys are doing. So you have some in cans. You have
There's so many options here. There's so many things I want to try, and I had to start with the.
You have the
Rocket
the
Fuel.
Tex
Staple.
Blonde Ale, the Cougar Paw Red Ale.
Yeah, you never
Dome-
stop making the Cougar Paw.
Right.
Dome
so-
Foam Throwback Cream Ale,
Yep.
IPA American IPA, your Michigan Troll Porter, and Sabotage Stout. So those are
the Sabotage Stout was from last year. However, we do have a stout on right now. It's more of a citrus chocolate stout.
Okay.
Called What the Fudge.
Okay.
That's
That's a lot of beer.
And then along
That
with
is a lot.
like the darker, we do have another brown ale called Stranger in the Alps. If you want something a little more like malty, but not as like dark and heavy on that end, I would say. And then
it's a lot of traditional styles.
Yeah, and then as far as the core beers, like what you just listed, our core beers will always gravitate around the Cougar Paw. That's a staple at this point, which is a nice red ale. So if you're going for something a little more amberish,
And that's kind of one of the OGs.
one of the OGs,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, same with the Rocket Fuel OG.
Yeah.
Same with Dome Foam OG.
Yeah.
And then part of that core is going to be the Tex, which is our light blonde, and officially the Wonder Light, which is our light lager. So if you're looking for something on par with, like a
Do we
Bud
have
Light,
Wonder Light on
traditional-
tap right now?
Yeah, it's
I
on
wanna
tap right
try
now.
that.
Yeah, by all means, we'll. Like I said, we'll get some samples as we're
Okay.
talking.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm almost done with my first beer, so
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm ready for a refill.
I just need some caffeine in me.
I see that.
Yeah.
A good old 16
Am I falling
ounce
asleep
worth,
over here?
No. I see you drinking your Rocket Fuel.
I'm a coffee guy.
It is one of your
I'm a coffee
favorite
guy
beers.
just as much as I'm a
Talks
beer
about
guy.
it a lot.
He's drinking
actually.
it down, guys. He's drinking it.
I do tell you, it's a great beer.
So the first time I had Rocket Fuel was a Super Bowl. It was a Super Bowl Sunday, and I came here to pregame before the Super Bowl, and I was going to a buddy's house, and I'd never had that beer, and I tried it, and I was like, oh my God, this is delicious. And this was when it was at the old location. They were serving in smaller cups. I think it was like they were giving me like an 8-ounce pour, and I had like 4 of them. And I don't drink coffee. So I didn't realize at the time I was very, very new to craft beer. Like I was still learning a lot. And I didn't realize that I thought it was just coffee flavored. I didn't realize there was coffee in it. And like I had this super strong caffeine buzz, and I needed to like chill out. I was like, I needed to smoke some weed or do something to just, because I got to my buddy's house and I was like, my heart was just pounding. And I was like, but it was so good that I was like, I want to keep drinking this.
It's so good, man. I used to buy so much of it at the store. I remember one time it was discounted or something, and I just bought. But there was a bunch of it, and I bought a shit ton of it.
Yeah.
And I had probably like cases and cases of rocket fuel in my fridge, and I was drinking it during 2020.
That's prime time for drinking.
During 2020,
Yeah, that year.
I was getting my what were the stimulus checks, and I was going to Eighth Wonder's website, and you could order mini kegs.
Oh, wow.
Like
okay.
those little mini, like the ones that Heineken
I forgot
makes.
that y'all did that. Yeah, that was
in
super
2020,
cool.
and I would buy like 3 rocket fuel ones at a time.
Yeah.
And I'd come up here and pick them up. During 2020, one time when I was picking up one of those kegs, I met a guy up here, and I traded him an OG Nintendo for a ball python. I met this guy on Facebook Marketplace. So I got my beer, and I got a snake.
That is the first time I've ever heard of a transaction like that. And that is amazing.
He reached out to me, and he's like, hey, would you trade your Nintendo, because I had it listed, for a snake or a baby alligator? And then he just started posting like all these animals. He posted like 30 animals in my chat, and I could have any one I wanted. And I was like, and I always kind of wanted a ball python, so I was like, yeah, sure, let's do the ball python. He also gave me a enclosure and like all the stuff. So that was a big part of it. What?
I got a snake, man.
Yeah, I still have that snake.
How could you say no? Yeah.
Yeah, his name's Sauron.
Okay, so yeah, he's still hanging?
He's still hanging. I got him here, man.
Damn, that's so cool, man. Yeah.
That's a funny story. Okay, that was one of the stories I knew I had to tell.
That's good. That's good. No, that's awesome, man. We really do love this place, and
We do.
I do think there's a lot to talk about in regards to THC and some of the things you guys are doing now.
Absolutely, yeah.
If we want to shift into that direction.
Is there anything else we want to talk about? The beer Haterade coming back?
Yeah, so,
Yeah?
man, I'm excited that
Okay.
you mentioned that.
That's good. Yeah.
Haterade is going to make a major comeback soon.
I'm excited.
So, not going to go into too many details, but I got some things surrounding that event and that announcement. I think we're going to make this a huge, fun day for Haterade, meeting as a full-on event, kind of like welcome back. But again, we'll save that.
Well, thank you for bringing that up on the podcast.
Well, the reason why I want to bring that up is because literally it is one of the highly most requested beverages I have ever gotten from the public since my time here with Eighth Wonder. It's a fantastic gose, or goza, however you like to say that. I know there's been much debate on that.
Right. The original OG. Y'all made a lot of different flavors of that.
Yes, yeah. So not only did we have the original OG, which I think we'll probably see on the horizon soon, like I said. But we had a watermelon version of it. We had a boysenberry at one point.
Was the one I liked.
My personal favorite, it was like a lime cucumber. And,
okay. They all coming back?
I don't have that info or that info right at this moment.
Will it be? It'll be different though.
But Haterade itself just will be back, whether that be the original or one of these. But that is to be determined. But
I'd love to see what y'all do.
We're
with
definitely
that.
going to give the public what they've been asking and demanding for.
Yeah,
so.
I'm excited. I love a good goza, and you don't see a lot of them around here. And
and I'm a runner outside of here, so I used to host a run club with my last brewery. So anytime I got back, I would go straight for a goza. Like goza.
They drink even better when you need them, like when you're sweaty.
Lime, flavor, it just helps, man.
Yeah.
Before we
Just
get
from the
into
sodium
the
levels.
THC stuff, what I want to ask is, so you said you've been with Eighth Wonder for 3 years.
Going on 3 years. Roughly,
Going on 3 years. You've worked so many different places within the service industry over the years.
Industry brat.
You worked a lot for the different Kirby Group bars.
I actually worked for one not too long ago. It was Bayou Heights Beer Garden off of Washington and pretty much Yale. I got to experience a little bit of the culture there and kind of what they have to offer. Shout out to them for having a really phenomenal and well-trained cocktail program. You know, those guys definitely pride themselves in being really serious about it and making sure their bar staff is well equipped and well educated. So that was
Right.
cool to see on that forefront. They also offer a lot of beers within Houston area and like the state of Texas in general. So
I really like their
they have an
coffee
amazing
shop.
tap wall, yeah. And I mean, the coffee shop is always been great, man. I'm really fortunate to meet that crew. Some have stayed, some have left. But
I have the Megaton Passion Fruit Sour on tap right now at Bayou Heights Beer
Oh,
Garden.
okay, right on, yeah. But like you said, the Kirby Group is a giant umbrella, so they have many locations here that
Right.
have been around
And you
for as
have
long
you
as
worked for
800.
other?
No, not for that group specifically. That was the one bar I did help out with.
Okay.
With the buddy that was working there at the time. Spent a lot of time with like Ricebox. I was.
I love Rice Box.
Yeah, shout out to John Peterson. That guy actually was friends with a lot of guys at the beginning of the Eighth Wonder days. He used to have the Thai tea here on tap at some point.
Nice.
From what I heard, when I joined him, we were still delivering kegs here at one point. I mean, it's great to see what that guy's been doing around town, opening more locations. Shout out to John Peterson. He's a really smart man, and I love his aesthetic.
I love
company
going to
itself,
Rice Box and having all the different sci-fi movies going all at once.
Love
the
it, man.
food's
I'm a
great.
huge movie nerd, so
The one that's
speaking my
closest to me
language on that.
doesn't have any beer on tap, but I understand that the other ones have craft beer on tap, right?
So I mean, at this point, to my knowledge, every location should have some type of beer, whether it's 4 handles or 5. I can speak for the Shepherd location in general. 1111 Shepherd. That
They
was
started as a food truck, right?
it was a food truck in Montrose. I want to say, what's that one bar it was across?
I used to get food from that food truck all the time.
That
It
food
was
truck
what
was
was the name of the bar?
insanity.
It was a big old bar, restaurant by day, bar by night thing.
It's not a rice guy.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Well, I get the lo mein.
Oh, they have noodles?
Oh yeah, no,
Oh.
their food's great, and it feels
are
like
you scared
Blade
that you're
Runner.
eating maggots, Michael? They're not maggots.
They're all sci-fi themed, and they have it looks
I mean, how
like
could
a
a million
Blade
people
Runner.
be
in
wrong?
there.
Which again,
that.
It's a vibe.
I'm a huge
for
movie
sure.
guy, so no, yeah, man. I mean, everything in terms of just the overall aesthetic, in terms of the food. I mean, it's still a place I like to visit every now and then.
There's a bunch of locations now.
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
there? I know of a couple.
I mean, like, this guy's in Rice Village now. He's in Montrose. He's in
Okay.
the Heights. He's now out in Spring Branch.
That's
I'm
awesome.
still trying to think what that
and,
bar was
And they
named.
look rad. They look like
area.
super badass to like hang out in. They're all
you know.
kind of decorative and eye catching and Instagram kind of vibes.
Instagram worthy. You
yeah.
see a lot of those cosplayers out there
their
doing
food's
their
great.
photos and whatnot.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah,
so that's
you
cool.
know.
That's good marketing because that's the culture
Yeah.
that we're in.
Yeah.
I know that I've taken a lot of pictures here and posted on my Instagram. So this to me is still a very Instagrammable type of atmosphere. It adds to that. And one of the first that were kind of before that really became a big thing.
Right. Yeah. Like.
Casey,
photo
do you need a
op
beer?
worthy,
I need a beer.
yeah. It looks like you do, man. Yeah. So.
Let's get some
Time.
beers. Or well, I'll get a refill.
Yeah, just go get a beer.
All right. Okay. All right. Thanks, Dad.
Well, you'll just take, I'll catch up with this dude real quick. Go get a beer. Okay, so while we're waiting for him, is there any other places to note in the service industry you've worked here in Houston?
Are we still on?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, okay, cool. Just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So aside from that, man, where else? Well, I started off with Whole Foods. So on that note of me coming back in
Okay.
2012, that was my introduction to the entire craft beer world.
Okay.
Whole Foods was a great staple in that sense for me, being exposed to like so many different things that were either local and / not local. Really exploring everything that was coming in. To the store I was at that time. I started at the Kirby location here in Houston. Moved over to the Post Oak location after that. But that really opened up the world of like, hey, there's more than just Lone Star and some Pabst Blue Ribbon, which by all means, never hating on those two whatsoever. Those are my founding fathers of beer. But
Hey, I started with Keystone Light.
Oh man, me too.
I wouldn't drink one of those today, but
Dude,
that's
Natural
where
Light.
I started. I didn't
I
forget.
started off with Bush. I started off with Old E, to be honest, 40s.
I used to do Mickey's and Old E.
Oh, dude, the hand grenades. Yeah,
Yeah.
I come from a very different background. Definitely had like all my
But I
punk
was
days.
drinking at like 14 and shit.
Well, I won't say on the record how.
Yeah.
how long
I
I've
hate
been
to
drinking,
interrupt,
yeah.
but there's a gentleman here that's needing a donation, and I think you're in a need. They
I'm
need
in
you to assist.
I'm in another predicament to come answer a question.
Yeah, so we may have to just take a quick pause.
Yeah, we'll take a
Okay, let's take a
few
quick
minutes. Okay,
pause.
cool. Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to Spider Games. A few years ago, I started selling a couple video games on eBay. Now I'm selling video games of all generations, retro toys, and anything I think's cool. I'm a top-rated seller because I package well and I take care of my customers. Check out my store on eBay. It's called Spider Games. Do you have any old video games sitting around? I buy video games of all generations, and I pay better than the game stores. If you do, email me at spidergamesebay@gmail.com. Hey, we're back. We just took a little break. We had to figure some shit out, but we are here at 8th Wonder with Harvey. And
What's up, guys?
hey,
Somebody just came in. They had to pick up a keg or two.
So we sponsor a few things. We have a like a baseball league that we support. So sorry, I can't think of the name at the moment, but yeah, that's another thing I do really enjoy about this place and pride it for sponsoring events.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you gotta
we
take
have
care of
extra
business,
beers.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, we have
this
beers
guy
that we
was
can
here with
help
his
out
daughter, and I was over there ordering a beer,
It's good,
and
dude,
your bartender was like, "Hey, I hate to interrupt," and I was like, "No, this guy needs to get his beer." Like, so, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a good call,
Pretty
and
cool.
I appreciate you.
Of course, yeah.
On that end. That guy's name was Mark. Again, we have like a baseball league that I believe some of our guys are on as well, if I'm not mistaken. But between that and other music events that happen outside of here, things that we can help out with, whether it's charities, as well. That's one thing I will say. This brewery is down to always help out with. Just all depending as long as it fits in with our core values and all that. It's just good to see that happening. So again,
Absolutely,
very
yeah.
community oriented, and it's good to see that.
That's what we love. That's one of the things we talk about the most on this podcast.
Very
8th
cool.
Wonder definitely feels very Houston.
Yes.
Very Houston.
H-Town, throw it down. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember the first time I met you. I came in here. Was I already mega? No, I was I back? I was probably back to you then. And
You came in. I remember you were like.
it was like 2 years
chowing
ago.
down on some seltzers. I had just probably started around that time, but yeah, we started talking about movies, started talking about beer, and
Talking about like
everything really.
thrifting, and
thrifting.
talking
for
about
sure,
doing markets and stuff.
Oh yeah, markets, yeah.
I've done a lot of markets with F Your Liver, and every once in a while I do like a market, a brash.
That's how
with-
him and I met.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, F Your Liver doing markets at Ingenious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Casey
Okay,
used to be
yeah.
the one to be like, "Hey, you want to come do a market?"
Yeah. Well, once Chris had stopped doing it, then it was kind of like passed on to me, and I was like, yeah, no, you were at the top of my list. I was like, yeah, I love having the guy here.
I
cool,
did a lot
yeah.
of markets at Ingenious. I've done a lot of markets at Brash.
Yeah, Brash is kind of like what really helped me like get into the world of vending and just joining markets in general, man.
You sell
I
action
just,
figures.
Yeah. I primarily do anything like 80s, 90s related. Most of my inventory is sealed and boxed still, so
really cool.
I like to pride myself for taking care of these. Like I treat them like prized relics of the past. So I treat it almost like a museum, and my area where I store them and everything. So
It's kind of similar to what I do. And I was saying sometimes I do a pop-up with my eBay store, Spider Games.
Oh,
and
okay, gotcha.
And I sell stuff. And it's just like a bunch of random toys and figurines and video games.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I do it because, of course, there's a nostalgia factor involved, but
Yeah.
it's literally just something like if I'm surrounded by toys, it like brings me the most peace and joy that I can possibly find as an adult.
I love it. You just like
yeah.
looking at the stuff.
Oh
That's-
man, I just love looking at it. I love
Yeah.
holding it. With that being said, I'm a collector at heart. So when I meet fellow collectors and they tell me their experiences or their memories and just overall collections, I'm always willing to, I don't try to jack up prices, man. It's not my forte. I just like things going to a great home.
Right.
So
the vibe, the feeling of 1990 whatever Christmas time, and you unwrap your present. That's the
Oh,
feeling
man.
I get when I hold something like that,
About
like
to
an
close my
action
eyes and
figure
just
from the
go right back,
90s. Yeah.
Yeah, man. There's just no other feeling like it. There's only a few things in life that have put me on a natural high, and that's usually, the craft beer world, toys, and music, man. So
yes.
Oh, and movies. Yeah. Can't forget-
Movies.
yeah,
I love movies.
Being in a
You like horror? You're a big fan of horror movies.
Yeah, you know, horror is definitely that's always been something that's been surrounding my life. You know, in general.
Yeah.
You know, thanks to my mom that never had any censorship on me and my siblings. You know,
Am I wrong? Did you tell me you collect VHSs?
Yes.
Okay.
VHS.
And you sell VHSs?
Yeah. So I sell all the ones that I probably have already 3 copies worth. I'm a crazy guy, especially when it comes to toys too. I always need like a loose figure, and I need something sealed as well. So always need both of those. And I do the same thing with like physical media.
Were you doing the markets at Brash or were you here at Eighth Wonder first?
My first market ever, and I remember this, was back in October with Brash, just last year. So I'm a newer vendor. I started this back in July of 2024.
You came and did one at Megaton, right?
And I did one at Megaton for your Christmas one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Whoever those kids were that were playing, shout out to those dudes. They absolutely fucking killed it.
So, there was a band?
Yeah, there was a band of like, I think the oldest one was maybe 18, 19 at most, and the rest of them, like his little brother was on drums. The kid that was the lead singer is the one I was talking about at first. Of course, they made me feel a little dated because they were playing everything from the grunge era in like 90s, but I mean, like straight up killing it. I was like, holy crap. Piece total, yeah, a 5-piece total. Anyway, I was just honestly sitting there watching them play the whole time.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man, it seemed to be really cool. Y'all seem to have a good little like.
I'm sorry I missed that, by the way.
community.
I wanted to be there
good.
and hang out. Something happened.
As soon as I got there, I was like, motherfucker. No, kidding.
I
But
hope you
hey,
had
man.
fun, yeah.
No, yeah, I totally had fun. I was a little under the weather that day.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it's around that time. The weather changes. But
Yeah.
hey, man, I sat there and I was like, hey, this is honestly really cool.
I love that you do that, and that's good, and I do that, and I can relate to you being somebody within the industry that also does the markets. It just shows different ways you can be involved in the craft beer community, because that's where I started, was
Very
doing
true.
markets with F Your Liver. That was I was a fan of craft beer, but I'm not gonna lie. Going to a brewery that I loved and being in one of their markets for the first time. I did one for Eighth Wonder probably like 5 years ago.
Let me know if you want to do another one soon.
We're not doing really F Your Liver markets anymore. You can always buy F Your Liver on Amazon. It's on eBay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's on fyourliver.com.
Let's do a beer someone tent.
What's up?
A beer someone tent.
Beer
Hey, by all
someone what?
means.
Tent.
Beer,
A tent for you guys.
I would love to have a beer someone tent.
Yeah,
Maybe in
man.
the future.
That'd be cool.
We got to figure out how to make money so we can buy a tent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys are receiving donations. Keep this going. And,
Yeah.
There you go, yeah.
Beer
There you go.
donations or tent
You need
donations.
to start doing donation plugs. Yeah.
But maybe.
Just a little love here and there to get
Yeah.
us going.
If
little
you
tent,
want to, if you want to
little tent
contribute,
money would be cool.
Hey man, I support you
If-
guys. On that level to keep this going and keeping the conversation piece.
Yeah,
happening.
That's not what our expectations were in starting this anyway. We've talked about like maybe selling shirts in the future and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to contribute, and by the way, if anybody ever wanted to advertise, I know some people have mentioned to me or Casey about potentially advertising with the podcast Beer Someone. We would definitely be interested in having that conversation. We're not huge yet.
We're still
building.
figuring all that out.
Yeah.
As far as the numbers go, how many listeners and viewers that aren't just listening
I
past
think
5
we
seconds.
have a really healthy number. I think
Yeah.
we have a healthy growth every single time we do one of these. I don't know. Maybe I'm just. I have a higher expectation for what that would be. We advertise my eBay store. We
It
advertise
just takes
F Your
time
Liver.
and
Yeah,
consistency, and I think we're doing that.
Yeah.
We're doing
Yeah, man,
consistently.
just like spread the good word. Also, like you said, be consistent. And then just finding like-minded individuals that have stories within the industry. I mean, the
Right.
industry goes a long way, man. I
Yeah.
mean, this is where you make families. This is where you
It is.
genuinely make the memories that keep you going. I mean, being in the industry is not always easy, and I'm sure you guys are well aware of that.
Yeah.
In
Especially
terms of
now.
just the physical and the mental,
You always got to be on your feet.
always on your feet, quite literally. And then,
I'd rather do
metaphorically,
this than be in some corporate job.
Hey, man,
9 to 5.
And I think you hit it on the T2 when you were just talking about how there's many branches of being in the brewery world, like you said, with the markets and just meeting, like people that are either really into the craft aspect of it, really into the event aspect of it, into just the overall conversation of it. Like you can meet anyone walking in here right now. Like I said, I've met people from Chicago. I've met people from New Zealand recently, Philly, and those are conversation pieces that go a long way,
You get a lot of travelers here. I know when I was at Ingenious, we were right by the airport, so we constantly had travelers, and they would stop by our place a lot of times first or last, on their way in or on their way out. So we'd always ask them, like, you on your way in, flying in or flying out?
Right.
And they would a lot of times ask, like, where should we go? Or they would sometimes, if they were really like into beer already and they knew they were going to hit breweries, they'd be like, hey, I wanted to come here, and there was a couple other breweries that we wanted to come, but where should we go? Or they would have like a list that this is where I think I'm going to want to go. And we would be like, hey, we suggest these. We would give them suggestions. And Eighth Wonder was always on the list. And
very cool.
I had a lot of people that were just already coming to beat. They were like, oh, Eighth Wonder's on my list because they noticed it's very Houston-centric. It's right. We're pretty much in downtown. We're in East Downtown, but
pretty close to.
We're right in the middle of the center of
like
Houston.
The stadiums. I mean, we're right across the street from
This
the
is a
Dynamos.
really easy place to take a break at in the middle of a day on a Tuesday and have one THC seltzer to wake you up. Yeah. I'm just not from personal experience. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. Yeah. But you also have a very friendly staff here as well.
Yeah, man. I do have a lot of pride in our crew, that we built since I've been here. We have individuals that have been in the industry for a good minute as well.
Casey's got some friends from Ingenious that work up here.
Yeah, Alex Pritchett, man. Shout out.
Alex Pritchett, yeah.
And Mathew
He's
Black.
actually in the back as we speak.
And
I
Matt
believe,
Black,
yeah.
man. Shout out to Matt Black, too.
Okay.
He texted me last week, and I told him we were going to be here, but I figured it's be tough for him to be able to make it.
Yeah, man. So
at
like
this
outside
time.
of the tap room itself, we have a lot of guys, on it, especially with the marketing team. Shout out to those guys. They're doing a phenomenal job of spreading, the product out, making sure it gets into bars, making sure that, we're making accounts, but the fact that we're just doing something new on that level, like I said, like we were talking about this earlier, to be a part of something new within like the beverage world is so exciting. And these guys have done a phenomenal job.
Are we getting into it?
Well, we can tap into it a little bit.
We can get into it.
But
just one hit.
But just one hit, pass, and
I'm gonna go get y'all. We'll get there. I'm gonna chug this. I'm gonna get me a THC seltzer. Would you like me to grab you something?
You're gonna get a THC?
Yeah, I'm gonna get something THC.
Just bring me a shot of something.
Bring you a shot.
There are THC shots on the menu.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely ask for the
purple
slap shot, which I'll explain what the slap shot is all about.
He recommends the slap shot. All right, cool.
Drink.
I want a slap shot.
She will definitely hook it up there.
That's what's up.
But I mean, like we have a great team inside and outside of here. Basically, is what it comes down to. So
how many sales reps do you guys have?
Sales reps that I can name off the top of my head, and this is just going for the Houston area, man. You already said one, which is Matt Black. We got Ryan, Rachel, David, Sam, and then he's in the Austin area.
I see David we see David quite a bit.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, here downtown.
Yeah, I actually know David through like the brewery world too. We met at the Urban South Days, which is a New Orleans brewery that had a Houston location at one point, which I was a part of. That was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But man, like I said, these guys are always on it. They're checking in our accounts. They're making accounts. Like I said, spreading the good word of legal THC here in the state of Texas. So
I love it, dude, and I see it all over the place. So when I started doing sales, I did a little bit of sales with Ingenious, but it was really just a means to help get our product out in the market. And then we hired Matt Black and Nathan Key. So we once they came on board, I went back to just focusing on the tap room because it was a lot to straddle both doing tap room events and food trucks and doing sales and like all this stuff. I was like, oh, so. But now that I'm at DECA, once Ingenious closed, they kind of took me under their wing. I started doing social media, and then slowly but surely started developing into sales, and I've really enjoyed it. It's an interesting world though. Whenever I've been in the craft beer for a very long time, for years and years, and so I've watched this industry like go from being like some kind of hobbyist sort of thing to like being this full-blown trendy thing, and then now we're in this other kind of new realm, and THC is a big part of it.
Yeah, man.
And I started noticing these THC products on tap walls, and I'm like, part of me is like, this is really cool because THC is something that I like, and I'm all for it. I'm like, I'm on board.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, that's a tap. I'm like, that's eating into the beer taps, and so it's an interesting kind of thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic now.
Yeah.
To
But I
see-
fully do support it.
Yeah,
That's not 3 shots.
No, I'm getting the 3 shots, but are we talking about weed?
A little. We were just.
we're actually
You're not getting legislation
we're pumping a
yet.
pinner really
no,
quick.
no,
Okay, I
not
wanna
yet,
get
not
into
yet.
that.
Okay,
Let's
yeah,
start
we
with
could.
that.
But yeah, no, like you're totally right. There's no secret. There's no hiding that the beer craft world is not essentially what we were talking about at the very beginning. Like
Right.
2012. 10 years ago.
Yeah, up to 2020.
Yeah, yeah, like more than 2 years ago at this point. But yeah, I mean, it's no secret that craft beer is not on that same level. It's not that people aren't interested in it anymore. It's just one of those things where it's become so common and so like well adapted to where when this newer thing, that being the THC products and like that beverage side of things are coming into the foreground and coming into view.
Yeah.
Those are definitely exciting. Also, we have to look at the public in general too, right? Whether it's the new generation or just the generation that we're a part of, where people aren't necessarily drinking as much as they used to, in terms of alcohol,
Right.
People are a little more health conscious. People are a little more aware of their options. But what he's bringing here, I can go over it.
This looks amazing.
This is interesting.
It's a pretty color.
It's a slap shot.
So
it's my favorite
this is
color.
going to be kind of like a cranberry, like a base shot,
Cheers, guys.
and some blueberry. But yeah, try this
Cranberries.
out, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm going to take a little bit here. Delicious.
Nice
every
and
time.
cold. Mm.
So delicious every time. So for our 420 Fest, we wanted to create something
That was good.
that went along with it.
It was very tasty.
Yeah.
It's on the
yeah.
sweet side, but it's delicious.
Yeah, so it's on the sweeter side because generally the spirit that we use, which is called the Ocho Verde,
I love it.
it is a really neutral, flavor all
It is.
together. So a lot of these things will, taste like a mocktail when you actually use it.
Right.
There's no alcohol whatsoever. We created this for our 420 Fest. My main guy, Ivan Silva, who we hired on a couple of months ago, he has really helped us with the bar program here. In terms of cocktails and as well as THC cocktails. So it's been really fun to.
He was the beer buyer by you, Heights.
He was yes, the beer bar there, and also at the legendary Conservatory. If anyone knows,
Oh,
knows
yeah, I
where
remember
Conservatory
Conservatory,
days.
yeah.
I was fortunate to be a part of it. It had its highs and had its lows. It's no longer around. However, the establishment itself is still going strong. It's
Underground
called-
Hall is doing really well,
So
yeah.
it's called Underground Hall. They just have the right management now, and
I
won't go
just
too
swung
much
by
on
there
that.
last
but
week
yeah.
for the first time.
But with the conservatory days, speaking of me being in the industry, luckily I was able to be a part of it. I was helping out a childhood friend at the time, with a shop that was down there at one point in time. While we were there, we really, like I said, the industry brings people together, starts families, and
What am I drinking right now? This is
I don't know. You tell me.
It's a lime seltzer.
Okay, so that's gonna be the
10
eighth Wonder. That is gonna be the Wonder Water, which
The
was
Wonder Water.
one of the very
original.
first, the OG of what started the
in the country.
and in the country.
Yeah.
In this,
Because
this brewery.
I want to keep going to THC. I'm like, because it's real THC, right? Or it's Delta 9, or is it Delta 8?
So we are doing Delta 9, which, if you're
Okay.
familiar with Delta 9, is literally off by one molecule.
Right.
That is what keeps it legal in the state of Texas. That is what still technically keeps it within the hemp, realm and that family. I have a childhood friend that I've known for over 20 plus years. She is actually in the weed, industry and like on the West Coast. She actually just visited recently, and I was so excited for her to come and try these things. And she asked, what do you guys like? How is this legal? How are you doing it? I was like, Delta 9. She started laughing only because she was like, dude, Harvey, Delta 9 is straight up marijuana.
Yeah.
It is.
It is just straight up. It
It
gives you
is.
all the same feel. Like, she was like, I'm so happy that you're in this world with me. I was like,
Yeah.
cool.
That's cool.
We get a lot of, not a lot, I shouldn't say a lot at all, but, we get some people that are a little, like, at first being like, oh, is this Delta 8, is this CB, D or CB? I'm like, nope, this is Delta 9. It still
That
has
must
the
be
same
really
effects.
cool to work with.
It's really great, man. Explaining the fact that, hey, physically and mentally, you get a full-on high. we do have products that vary in terms
You just
of
upped your milligram on like all your products, right?
Yeah,
Just
like,
the 2.5 milligram, right?
Yeah, so like slightly. So we changed the Wonder Water to now like a 10 milligram seltzer.
Yeah.
It was
is also Delta
8
9.
before.
So it was actually 8 milligrams. Also the Delta 8
Because
strand.
you like 8.
So we no longer do the Delta 8 strand whatsoever. We only do the Delta 9 infused seltzers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah,
no Delta 8 at all.
Is there a room with a bunch of weed in it somewhere in here?
If there is, they haven't given me the key to that or told me
we-
where
Right,
it is.
yeah, I don't know if that's
Can you
how
show
that
me and
works.
Casey? Can we go hang out there for a little while?
But yeah, we could probably do a brewery tour if you want.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Where everything's in the tanks. But
I would love to do a brewery tour.
but aside from the seltzers itself, we do have edibles that correlate with the seltzers. So
Yeah.
meaning we have a version of the Wonder Water. We have a version of like the cherry limeade that's on tap. We have a version of the lemonade that's
And
on
they're
tap.
tasty.
So on.
They're
And
yummy.
They're tasty, man.
Yeah.
I
they
drink
really are.
these. I do personally drink these. I'm lucky to have a lot of friends at Eighth Wonder, and I get sent home with low fills every time I come here.
Hey, man, we just like want to try to spread the good word. Also, if you're in the industry, you want to take care of our industry people.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
But at the end of the day, the taste itself is what really I stand by because they're not like White Claws, they're not like Trulies. They don't have this like weird aftertaste kind of chalkiness. Is what I would call it.
Right.
But they are literally just refreshing, especially dealing with Houston weather and. Whether it's a great day or not, it just fits well with.
I wanted to explain maybe to the people who have not tried this and are with, because this is a beer pod, this is a craft beer podcast. Some people might be closed mind to what this is,
Yeah,
and I just want to say it does the same thing I don't drink one beer and I'm not drunk.
And I'm glad you said that because
Yes.
that is literally half the spiel that I like to,
You need to like
say,
drink
yeah.
like 3 or 4 of these to be
So-
like.
It's a really good, a hard buzz.
Yeah, exactly, man.
But it also
So,
depends
yeah.
on your intake of THC
And
if
it
you
depends on
already
your-
do that.
And it
so.
depends on your tolerance and
Yeah.
how well versed you are with like marijuana and in general.
Yeah.
So a lot of the questions
It's
we
like
get is
grabbing a
always
6-pack of beer if you grab a
Exactly,
6-pack
you know.
of Eighth Wonder THC cells.
And we do get the questions of what is this going to do to me? I'm like, well, to each their own, right? But treat it like a beer. Like you said, you have a 4.5 percent beer, not necessarily going to be drunk right away. Also depending on your tolerance and how
Right.
well versed you are with beer. It's the same thing, just like keeping track of it.
The tolerance varies, I think, a lot more with THC than alcohol. I think that has a lot. That's a big factor because I've known people that. My sister, for example, who never really takes in THC, took like this tiny little bite of an edible one time, and I was like, she was completely fucked up, and I was just like, I'm sorry,
It might be different. I'm going to admit, and I think
I could
we
eat
talked
8
about it before,
times that much
But I'm a smoker. I smoke weed occasionally in my free time.
occasionally.
Okay. Thank you.
recreationally.
Recreation. Anyways, I was gonna say that. Fuck, what was I gonna say? This thing's already hitting me.
Ladies
Ladies
and gentlemen, they do work.
They do work.
They do work. It's
They're
great.
very relaxing
they're
and
very
very
relaxing,
very
man,
mellow
and,
vibes.
It's a good vibe.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I've been over here for a lunch break with Brandon before and had a few, and then went about my day, and it was fine. They're really tasty. It's nice and relaxing. That doesn't get you super anything like.
Oh, you know what I was
You're
gonna
not-
say was, I feel like the industry within the industry, and this is a very inside industry podcast in a way. Smoking is very acceptable, or ingesting THC products, whether it's edible or a seltzer. I think it's a little bit more acceptable than probably the traditional job, and I know that because my jobs before this was I was a truck driver for 5 years. I worked in a chemical plant for like 4 years.
Okay, so
and
you
then
weren't
I was
allowed to
and then I was
do
in the
anything.
army before that.
Okay.
So I didn't
Major
get to
exes on
smoke.
all those.
I smoked a little while when I was out of the army, right before I started working for the chemical plant. And the moment I left that truck driving job and I took the job at Backpew, I started smoking that day. That was the day it was like, okay, well, I'm just going to start using THC products again. And I feel like it's like I said, very within the industry. I think most people are using THC products.
Yeah, it's pretty common now.
Yeah, I mean, like,
and you guys, I think, have helped a lot of that kind of really what am I trying to say here? The kind of aiding to that sort of normalizing it and making it more of a socially acceptable thing.
And I mean, yeah, like on a social aspect of it, when we hear stories of why people are like flocking towards this, it could be anywhere from I had a guy explain to me like, hey man, I was drinking for 30 years and it became a health issue. It became to the point where I was like physically ill, and the doctors are like, dude, you got to change everything up.
Right.
This is now a catalyst, into being like, hey, I can now have a THC beverage. I've also talked to people that experience a lot of pain and insomnia, and this is a good way for them to try to bypass that. The Delta 9 strand is really good and well known to alleviate sleep, apnea. Also, if you're experiencing like some pain, it's really good for pain as well.
Absolutely,
I've heard a lot of people. I just had a lady here a few weeks ago talk about how her dad was like in a helicopter accident and completely ruined his back, and he's been drinking these seltzers and claims that he sleeps great at night.
Yeah, that's great.
So it's just great to hear that. The reason of why people are drinking these, how it's actually helping them, as opposed to having a really great night and having a fun night out and getting super tanked and then waking up being like, man, that wasn't worth it at the end.
And then if people are a little worried about sugar, you have the Wonder Water, which has no sugar.
Zero sugar, 0 calories.
This one I'm drinking has no sugar.
Yeah, and it's really. I had one a while ago before we started. Lime.
And so I will say
subtle lime.
Yeah,
this is my second one. I'm not gonna lie. I drank one before.
Yeah, so I will say in terms of the sugar aspect of it too, there's not much sugar in a lot of these.
Okay, that was kind of my other.
Yeah, and I'm pretty conscious about that. Myself. On a personal level. So I don't do much sweets or sugar.
When are y'all bringing the drippy back? I don't care. That one has a lot of sugar, and I don't mind it.
Yeah, I totally got you. Drippy is not necessarily part of our catalog and part of our
it's just so
our
good.
inventory per se. We were doing a favor to a third party, that being Drippy, I believe is the actual name of the company. We were helping
You're packaging.
Also brew it and make it.
Brewing it, making.
I mean, compliments to us for doing that. I don't have all the info on if and when that's even going to still be a thing. But the real reason why it was in the tap room is, of course, whenever we have enough that was like a surplus of it, we would go ahead and put it on tap. However, one thing I can say is stay tuned for our stuff coming out. We have a lot on the forefront.
Okay.
A lot of different flavors. One thing I guess I'm allowed to say is, at least with the Wonder Water, expect some new things from that.
Nice.
And you're gonna have maybe your own THC flavored soda coming out. Is that what you're saying? Maybe.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying expect some new flavors and some new additions to the family of the seltzers. Yeah.
So what is
I'm really
the
excited
difference
about that.
between the Howdy and the Beach Break?
Really the major difference is one for flavor and the other would be milligrams.
Okay.
The Beach Break series is known as a 5 milligram seltzer. So and the flavors that we have for those would be the swellberry, which is like a mixed berry flavor.
Delicious.
We have the watermelon. And then we now have added the cherry limeade into the family of the Beach Break, which is also 5 milligrams.
Yeah, that used to be 2.5, and now it's.
Like in cans, they used to be.
And you have the smaller cans, and you're moving to full-size cans.
So in cans for the cherry limeade and the peach mango, we had those at 2 milligrams.
Yeah.
So now we changed the cans. They're now part of the Beach Break family, so they're now 5 milligrams each. So we have peach mango and cherry limeade at 5 milligrams now.
Okay.
So none of your cans are 2.5 anymore, right?
Now with the Howdies, we're also changing that as well. Those are going up to 10 milligrams.
Word.
Wow.
So
yeah, everything's going up. I said everything was going up.
I knew everything was going up, but I didn't know it was going to 10. I thought it was going to 5.
Yeah. So it's going 10.
Hell yeah.
I feel like with the feedback we get too in the tap room too is generally people flock towards not necessarily like the highest, but they want higher.
Well, Drippy was high, right, when it was here.
Yeah, that was a 10 milligram seltzer.
And that was the highest when it was on tap.
So what we're learning is
but
that
now we have the 10 milligram of the Wonder Water. So
no, and I really like it. That's what I'm drinking right now. Yeah,
you guys are learning that the market is wanting this product, and they want a little bit more than just 2.5. It's just,
I mean, I think now the brewery, is going on a good 4-year run with the seltzers now. So we have created that following. We created those individuals that are more versed with it now. So
are you
we're starting to
worried
see
at all about any rising competition? I know Spindle Tap's starting to get into THC.
And this I feel like will naturally happen, right? Everyone's going to try to tap into.
You think that all the breweries, and what I saw an article, it said more breweries closed, this year or last year than opened
Then
for the first
opened,
time?
yeah, last year, yeah,
There's something up
2024.
here, Jason Houston,
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
And maybe,
Yeah.
and a lot of that is because younger and new generations of people aren't drinking beer, and they're
Right.
leaning more.
which is kind of what we were talking about.
the THC seltzers. Okay.
Yeah.
Like when you grabbed a drink, we were.
So what if breweries, as a way to survive in this industry, what if every brewery starts making THC? I mean, I guess you would be at the head of the game. You would be the St. Arnold of the THC products here in Houston. But
Yeah, man. I mean, it very much feels like, this establishment, this place in general, like
You
Bayou
built
City
something
Hemp.
here?
That's, very much the giant umbrella, that the brewery's under. Bayou City Hemp is doing phenomenal things right now. They are absolutely crushing it in the game.
And just
They-
sorry, I just want to make sure everyone understands that Bayou City
Right.
Hemp is the company that bought in and collaborated with you guys in 2021.
Roughly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Okay.
What year?
I think it was 2021.
Yeah.
And
So-
then I just want to
so-
make sure people know.
No,
Sorry.
yeah. Dude, I appreciate that.
Were you already doing stuff with them before they bought you? right?
Like started with the Wonder Water. We are talking about the brewery and like Eighth Wonder itself,
Yeah.
but it very much Bayou City Hemp is very much responsible for all these great changes. They're responsible for all the great product. We have a lab across the west side of town. Everyone that is making this are absolutely phenomenal and intelligent individuals. I have been fortunate to meet these guys and actually talk with them. Receiving the updates. Usually we have a meeting every so often to where they will send the updates, and it's just always exciting to hear what is about to be on the horizon, what has been accomplished. Which is what I was explaining with the marketing crew. How well
Are you
these guys are
scared
doing.
about what's happening with
And then, of course, there's that,
legislation?
I was gonna
aspect of
say,
it
yeah,
all.
you guys are digging into that
You're
stuff for
you're
sure.
so deep in. What happens if this? What if it's not the outcome you want?
So I mean, in terms of that, and in terms of all that stigma coming from that, and I just will say that we have 6 lobbyists that feel really confident
Yeah.
on what we're doing here. It seems to be so much more coming from a regulation standpoint, and when I say that, I mean they're targeting those establishments and those individuals that aren't necessarily doing any regulation whatsoever on their products. I like to think of Texas right now as the Wild Wild West in terms of all THC products.
it is right now.
And like I said, we have a lab across town to where we are regulating. We have reports. We have actual scientists on our side of things, and we can prove everything that we're doing. We're also doing things more on a low dose, not necessarily adding 50 milligrams of Delta 8, another 100 milligrams of Delta 9, CBD. Just some of these products are.
Can
what
you
is-
explain a little bit more into what's happening for the people that don't know?
Well, yeah. So essentially, that is basically, at least, to my understanding and seeing, it unfold, before us. I would just say that right now, the state of Texas, of course, is trying to outlaw any use of THC products. It seems, or at least that's what the public is hearing. Everyone comes in being like, "Oh man, are you guys gonna be shut down?" That's not necessarily from our end. What like I said, what we're hearing is it's more so a regulation aspect of it. The fact that we're able to prove we're regulating things, the fact that we're able to prove what we're putting in our products, everything from even just the calories itself and the nutritional value of it. I would say we're literally on point with all that. So it's still to be determined, but from what we've been told from our higher ups and our CEOs, they feel very confident. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be too much of an issue for us, as of right now.
So what we're thinking is that the bill that will actually be passed is the one that's more about regulation and not.
That, as of right now, that's what it seems to be. But
We'll see, I guess.
But if it goes,
but again, I'm not saying
if you're
100%
you're
of
ready.
anything, yeah.
Everything's ready to go.
Yeah.
Eighth Wonder is they're just waiting.
But Bayou City Hemp having 6 lobbyists, that says something about how
Yeah.
much you guys are paying attention to what is
They're
going
very much
on.
paying attention, man. All of our CEOs and the guys on top of this are very much, in tune with what's happening. They're on it. So
Yeah.
they are looking out for, like the best of the company. They are looking out for the best of our employees.
When that
so,
stuff
yeah.
got posted on social media, I immediately text Matt, and Matt called me, and he was just like, "It's too much to text," and he just told me all this really interesting stuff about basically kind of what you just said,
Okay,
like
cool.
how much
Yeah.
you guys are basically paying attention to all this
Yeah,
stuff, and
absolutely,
you
yeah.
have projections for what should occur.
Yeah.
Although we don't really know, but once the house decides, I think you guys,
Yeah.
I trust you guys. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And and it really goes back to everyone that's coming in, trying these and they're buying these. These are individuals, like I said, that are reaching out and looking for alternatives, and they're looking for ways to kind of like better themselves and their lives in general. Their overall well-being.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm receiving a crowd in here that's coming in being like, dude, I just want to get baked, which to each their own. By all
Right.
means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be able to do this in a point to where you can casually sip on something, you can casually enjoy your time, to where it's not so. And again, I have nothing against smoking. By all means,
There's a lot of reasons to come here. You can play.
You guys
get
don't
high
sell
and
any
play
flower?
pinball.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we don't smell any smokables on that, and we used to, when I first started with
Oh, really?
with the brewery, we
Okay.
had some
They
like
did
vapes,
what?
we had a little bit of flour,
Smoke like flour and
Yeah.
That wasn't that long ago.
Pins
that you had
too, right?
flower.
No, but
there's
no more
yeah,
pins?
So this is
Pins.
like a
You're
little
doing
maybe
gummies
every
still,
year.
though, right?
Yeah. Oh, we still have the edibles, which,
So just-
like I said earlier, they correlate with the seltzers that
Can we
have,
try
so,
some?
Yeah.
So just gummies and liquid, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah.
all you guys do.
And our infused spirit. So
Okay.
the ones that we make cocktails with.
The Verde.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is called
yeah,
Ocho
yeah.
Verde.
Yeah.
We sell it by the bottles here. Not to mention, guys, just
I
to
used
also
it
throw this
for
fun
a
fact
punch.
out there.
I used the Verde for which is it's like a THC liquor that you can and I made a punch for St. Patrick's Day called the green stuff.
Which again, there is no liquor in it. It's just
Right.
like an
Yeah,
infused
there's
spirit.
no liquor. It's
No
just
liquor, no alcohol.
THC.
It's just straight up THC. But yeah, also something I don't think we mentioned. We're in every 250 stores of Specs in the state of Texas.
Nice.
So you can find our product in Specs. You
Is
can find it
HEB
It's
also
around
next?
in,
$40, right?
yeah, for the bottle. Yeah, it goes about for 40. It's 101 milligrams per bottle, 4 milligrams per ounce that you use.
Right.
So
you
again,
can,
you can make
it's
it
stronger.
how
Are you
strong based
still
on
doing
yeah.
that thing at between 8 and 9 where everything is
We're still
75,
doing
25% off?
Yeah. So we're still doing the power hour every day. We're open 7 days a week from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
So
You can
from
come
8 to
in.
9 and you come by a Verde, it goes from
You can
40
get
to
anything to
30.
go.
Maybe I shouldn't be giving that cheat code out.
I mean, it's a good cheat code to know until it's, not. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, not to mention our happy hour is phenomenal. Every Monday through Thursday, 4 to 7, you can get beers for $4. You get seltzers for $5.
Nice.
Not
and
bad.
our cocktails are also, like on the discount.
I did want to
That's awesome.
mention after 13 years of being open, y'all, in the last 2 months have stopped doing tokens?
Yeah, we just started that in April because again, we're trying to.
You were the
more
last ones,
focus-
you and Backpew.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Like I didn't know they were still on a token system.
Yeah, they
I haven't
still
been
do
out there in a
tokens
minute,
there.
yeah.
But yeah, you could get. I remember it used to be $15. No, it was $12 back in the day. You got 3 tokens and a glass.
The good old
For here?
days? I don't know.
Here, yeah.
No, I don't know if you got a glass,
Uh,
but you got it for a while. It was 3 for 10.
Okay.
3 tokens for
3
10.
tokens and a glass for $12. I remember. I don't.
You got a
remember-
glass?
You got a glass.
don't
yeah.
think you
so
got a
yes.
glass.
So
I don't know if you got a
special, we
glass.
had,
I did.
We're still offering a glass and 3 tokens for like 18 as of just recently.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
yeah.
Recently, I'm talking about
When it
like,
first opened.
13 years
yeah,
ago.
right,
or what-
yeah, back when
Yeah.
things were a little different, quite different. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you guys also went cashless because I remember coming in here.
Yeah.
Because my practice studio, like I said earlier, was across the street, so we would come here a
Very
lot.
familiar, yeah.
And this is where we would pregame before practice. So I would come up here and I would work in the service industry, so I always had cash.
Yeah.
And so I came up here to buy beers one day, and they were like, "We don't take cash anymore." And I was like, "Oh shit!" So I walked around to all these like fucking groups of people with cash in my hand, and I was like, "Hey," because I didn't have a card with me, I didn't have any bank money, I just had cash. So I was like, if I give you more, like I think it was 3 for 12 at the time,
Okay.
and I was like, I'll give you 15 or something like that. Whoever has a token, I'll give you $5. I'll give you $5 for a token. And I had a lot of people tell me no, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to scam anybody. And finally, one guy was like, I win, right? Like I win. I'm like, yes, you win. You win $2 more, like or whatever it is, like you're like or $1 more. I'm like, I'm giving you a little bit more money, like a tip, basically. And he was like, here you go. And I was like, sorry, I'm not trying to be awkward here.
What was the decision behind finally getting rid of the iconic bottle caps?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the thought around that is, like I said, we have a really good an hour's worth to where you can get a really good deal on a lot of our products.
Yeah.
That being every day of the week from 8 to 9. Also, our happy hour is just phenomenal. I mean, a $4 beer, is at this point almost unheard of sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think we want to focus around those. And
You're also creating trash, essentially. You're just creating stuff that's going to get tossed away at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
you can
you know,
recycle them and everything like that, but eventually it's just you're creating stuff,
yeah,
that
and,
you don't need to have.
Now that they are also prized relics of the past.
Yeah.
Right, that kind of adds.
You can still bring them up here?
You can still bring them up here. We'll still honor
Oh,
them.
cool. That's good to know.
Not 100% sure as if we're still gonna completely take them away forever. But as of right now, we're trying new things.
Yeah.
We're just trying to adapt with our newer stuff and our newer specials. And so far it's been a great response. I mean, at the end of the day, we still keep things at a pretty well, like reasonable price. And our cocktails are, priced at a really great, we do like $10 cocktails. On happy hour it's $8. So
Nice.
Me being a
So you're
guy in the
making.
industry and
I'm
loving
sorry.
bars.
I want to touch on that a little bit. The cocktails you're making.
Yeah. So we're making liquor-based cocktails
Yeah.
as well as the THC-based cocktails.
You have a menu up there, right?
Yeah, we have a full menu up on the screens there. We do a house variation of some classics. We also bring out the classics, and then we do THC versions that are all on their own.
You have a lot of options here. So
man, it is
there's
so
something
cool.
for everybody
it is so much fun
here.
being here. Like
Beer, THC products. You have cocktails for THC and for alcohol.
Yeah, and it makes me so happy just to be in a brewery to where someone's like, oh, I don't really mess with beer. And then I tell them like, oh, well, we have the THC stuff for liquor. And they're like, you automatically see the life come back to their eyes.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
oh, well, tell me more, So
Yeah.
that makes it really exciting, I love to give the rundown.
I've started to
of everything
do
we
that
offer,
too.
so.
I've been out a couple times recently, and I didn't feel like drinking beer.
You didn't, yeah.
And I was like, you know what? There's a howdy on tap. Why don't I just do that? And I end up.
I every
nice.
once in a while get a Eighth Wonder product when I see it on tap.
And
Yeah, I did it at
I'm
craft
always
beer cellar. I
excited
just
to
didn't-
see that around town. Yeah, I've been, like I said, on a day off, I'll like to stop by somewhere I haven't been in a while, and it's great to see that we're on the menu.
Yeah.
And,
When your products
cool.
are, just so anybody in the bar industry knows that's ordering beer, very affordable,
very much so. Yeah,
very cheap,
Yeah, dude, I was
cheaper
telling
than
you
beer.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, with the other specials, that we offer, like I'm really glad that we do that, and give people a chance to, try things at an affordable rate. So
Yeah.
Right.
Great
That's
products.
awesome.
I love what y'all are doing.
Yeah.
I
And
did
so
want.
is the Ocho Verde the only thing like it that you guys have?
it is the only thing as of now. Like I said, things are on the horizon, and
Okay.
once we get to that point and they start releasing information and all the great updates.
One thing I wanted to add about the Ocho Verde that I didn't get to touch on was that it. I've tried it a couple times, and I love that it's very neutral, and it doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. It does. It really does
It's
just
a
kind
very
of
neutral
take to
flavor,
whatever.
which is
So
great.
you can literally add it to anything.
Yeah, it's a great
really
thing
good.
to mix into. You would use it in the same way you use vodka.
What is there?
in a
Maybe
mixed
just a
drink.
slight bit of citrus or.
But it doesn't have the taste of vodka, so it's really easy to take shots of too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. It's just it's just juice.
Yeah,
essentially.
so just a fun story that I like to share with everyone about the Ocho Verde itself. We had just released it around the time that the Rolling Stones were in town, and there's Ninfa's on Navigation. If you guys are familiar,
The
old
original,
school,
yeah.
original like restaurant. They were making margaritas infused with our Ocho Verde at the time.
Hell
And
yeah.
Mick Jagger himself from the Rolling Stones happened to have 3 margaritas that were infused while he was hanging out there.
Wow.
Came to play a show here, like after he had the margaritas, he was on stage and he actually asked the entire crowd, have y'all ever heard of Ocho Verde? And he was like, well, let me tell you, I had 3 and I was flying.
That's awesome.
And so it's Mick Jagger approved. It's a great story to tell people just because,
That is awesome.
No, it was a hit at my St. Patrick's
just-
Day party.
Just like one of the legends of rock, trying our product and
That's
giving
funny.
us a
They
shout
came
out,
here
yeah,
and they were
yeah.
like, "Where should we go eat?" Fucking the original Tex-Mex place
Tex-Mex
in
place,
fucking
man. Yeah, we're in
Houston.
fucking Texas.
Ninfa's.
We're in
That's funny.
Houston, and
That's awesome.
let me try some THC-infused
I mean, that's such a
margaritas,
cool
yeah.
part of town too. I'm proud of that. Like, I'm proud of that, and then El Tiempo next door,
Absolutely,
like,
absolutely,
and
yeah.
that area of town. It's Second Ward's a really cool area.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, like adore this area. It's been great to see all the newer spots that have opened up. Like within this like a time frame that I've been here. So
Yeah, this place has developed a lot, and it's about to really change. So that's another thing that we should probably bring up is how is all this road changes going to affect you guys?
Yeah.
So
With
us personally right
59,
now, it
45.
isn't affecting us, which we're very fortunate and lucky for that.
You're far enough far
we're-
enough
Yeah.
back.
I mean, it seems like we're literally right on that finish line right there.
Right on.
We got really close.
Really?
It's sad to see a few of the neighbors have to.
Secret group going
Neil's
away?
Bar is moving.
Yes, they actually have an official location, so I'm
Yep.
really happy that they're going to still go on
Who?
strong. Neil's Bar.
Neil's
so
Bar. Yes,
they're-
Neil's
Yeah.
Bar got a
They're going to be
location, yes.
next to the Nickel City guys over there. So
Yes, yeah.
which I've been a fan of Nickel
Just
City.
a little further in, not
yeah,
much.
Any
they're just
word
right
on
across.
Secret Group? What's happening with Secret Group?
I can't say 100% on what's happening with Secret Group. We have always been super buddies with them. We sponsored their.
I know True Anomaly has a new location.
They have a new location. I think they're just kind of riding the wheels until they fall off.
Yeah.
But yeah, Secret Group, we've always sponsored their comedy night on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
So we've always been really good friends with those guys. I don't have information on whether they're moving or not, but yeah.
I used to do little open mics over there at Secret Group, but
yeah.
It's been a while, and I haven't been in there in a while.
You got booed off too many times. No, I'm kidding.
But I was gonna say, and I just wanted to mention, the old location you had next door where you were doing cocktails. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So at the distillery, we were very much had our hands into the distillery aspect of things. That was no longer a thing. As
You're
of,
not making liquor?
No, yeah. So we're not making our own spirits at this time anymore. A lot of the focus is more so on the THC spirits, which is
Y'all made really great whiskey, I want to say.
Yeah, man.
It's such an awesome staff.
And the staff. Oh man, I miss my boy Stuart, aka
Dude, those guys are
we call him
awesome.
Tucker.
Stuart's great. Where is he?
I'm like Elise. Shout out to all those guys.
Oh, no.
I did run into him in Austin. I was
He's
doing
in
an
Austin.
event for Eighth Wonder at
Okay.
the time. We were doing the Blues on the Green, which got rebought by HEB. It was a really awesome music festival that got kind of canceled, but HEB came in, swooped in, and revitalized that and helped it. So I was really happy to be a part of that event. With some of our marketing reps. We were selling all the THC seltzers, and we brought a few cocktails that we made on spot. It was a great event. I ran into him with our time being there. But yeah, man, you're totally right. The staff was great there. Definitely, like one of those industries where I guess it just made more sense to focus on other things, in terms of our beer products and
Do y'all
the THC products. So.
do y'all still have that space?
We definitely still have it. It is
Okay.
very much on a production level
Yeah.
right now. this is where we're sending things in, things are coming out. So we have a whole staff over there right now.
Okay.
So it's still very much in use, for the better of the company. And but yeah, just kind of an end of an era on that end of things. But
I went there a lot. I used to stop by and I would grab a Rocket Fuel. Like I said, I've
Gotcha, yeah.
never stopped drinking Rocket Fuel. It's probably been the most consistent craft beer in my entire life.
Very cool.
I will get that and I get a shot of your whiskey. And I probably did that once a week. And
Yeah.
I was sad to see it go. But I love what y'all are doing over here on this side. I love the wraparound bar.
Yeah,
It's
with one door being closed, another door definitely open, and
Yeah.
like I said, it's really exciting to be a part of the ride.
Yeah.
And I only hope to keep going on with it, experiencing it. Anything I can do to further help the exposure of THC and all the positives of it, I'll be happy to do. So.
Yeah. Is there anything that you can give us, tell us about that something new that's happening, something fun that you can give us, you can just, hey, this, you heard it here first.
Heard it here first. Well, I mean, that being said, with all of our newer things on the horizon, I don't know a lot of infused spirits per se. Me being out, whether it's at nearby bars or just being at Specs, seeing things. This is like I said, a new territory in the beverage community and the world in general. So if anything's on par with the whole you heard it here first, expect just new product that people probably haven't seen before
Ooh.
or in their day. So
Yeah.
I'm really
Came in
excited
late
for
on
that.
this, but it sounds intriguing.
Well, I just asked them if they could get any sneak peek inside information or something
Yeah.
like that.
But as far as you know,
I'm a little baked, man.
You're totally good. I mean, that's that's what we achieved to do here, right? You
Yeah.
know, like be able to have conversations
You're getting kinda
about
busy,
it.
too.
Yeah, we're starting to get a crowd in here.
Yeah.
Friday.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's 4:30. It's Friday.
Yeah.
It's about
Yeah.
that time.
It gets pretty busy here on a Friday, huh?
So generally around like 4:30, 5 o'clock, all the people that are getting off or either coming in for a game, all depending on if the Astros are playing right down the street, which, we're by the stadium, which is
Are they playing tonight?
really awesome. It's so hard to keep up with these guys because they play literally every day.
Yeah.
I have it in my schedule. Trust me, I
I always
have
ask
to
my
do-
Siri, like that's
Yeah.
how I keep up with it.
I have to put it in my schedules just so we can keep up with it.
you kind of have to know.
Have to know, man.
Yeah,
Have to
when
know.
you're here for work.
Have to know what's going on at the convention
Yeah.
center as well. This
Yeah.
is a poppin' area, so
Yeah.
I just have to know nearby things happening. So those all go into play with our volume and what we expect in terms of foot traffic. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Never a dull moment.
Right.
But like I said, anyone here right now could be here that is from out of town.
And then-
they could just be locals. It's a mixture of everything. So
I
Out
wanted
of
to,
all the breweries, just so I'm trying to remember, in order of breweries still open, how are you? Or what are you, like the third oldest one?
oh man, at this point, well, let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. St. Arnold,
the
oldest,
yeah.
it's the mecca of the Houston area. The Houston kind of like
I'm trying to remember.
tourist factor.
Well,
and
you
then it was,
might
and
know
then it was
better than
Buffalo
me.
Bayou.
It
Buffalo
was
Bayou's
Buffalo
closed,
Bayou, which
though.
is closed, but they got rebranded as Tejas now.
Right.
So
Is
Tejas is taking
Carbach older
over.
than y'all?
No.
No.
Okay.
I for a while I thought
Also,
they were,
we don't
but they're
consider
not.
Carbach part of the craft.
We don't
brew
either,
world.
but
No, we know they're not.
we
Yeah.
but,
don't consider them part of the craft beer
Yeah.
community. But
but they were back then when
They
that
were
happened.
Hey
back
man,
then.
really great. I mean, these guys came out
They
like
put out some amazing beer.
they came out of the gate swinging, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, yeah.
all of us were at one point all like super down with the Hopadillo. We were all like
I
super
lived
down with the what was
15
it,
minutes
like,
from the
Clown
place.
Shoes
Yeah, I
or-
was there
Hop
all the time.
Delusion was the
hop-
best
man,
IPA.
like
in
the
Houston.
Love Street is still
I'll die on
solid.
the hill.
Also,
Which
if you want
one?
to go back,
Hop Delusion from Carbach.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Back in the day, they won't do it now that they've been bought out. They just haven't. But
And
Hop
it's the same
Delusion's
thing with St.
amazing.
Arnold. If you
Yeah.
want to
Or
go back
was.
to those guys, I mean,
I like
will
that. Here
stand by.
comes the sun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I always talk about that one when I talk about.
Yeah, their
Carbach.
Bourbon Barrel had
Yeah.
Hellfighter series.
But yeah, I mean, as far as St. Arnold too, I always go back to.
So where would y'all be on that list? Are you second, or is that what you're saying?
I mean, I would say
Was Southern Star older than y'all?
It was 2013 when this
yeah,
opened.
So I mean, I would say we're pretty much right there.
we could
Number-
Google this.
like maybe top 3,
No
top
Label
5.
said they were 15 years old recently.
Okay.
So is No Label second?
Ooh, I don't know because maybe.
Tom,
Are they?
he made a post. He said something about being 15 years old. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they are 15 this year.
Yeah.
They haven't come up to
you
their
said
anniversaries
13.
in like October,
St.
November.
Arnold's over
Roughly,
30
yeah.
years old. So you would be number 3 then.
Yeah, like I said, top 3 or possibly top 5. But
Harvey,
yeah.
are you gonna finish that shot?
It's
I'll
all
take
yours,
it if you
man.
don't.
Yeah,
Can I?
that's all you can
I almost
dive
want
into.
one.
Sure,
No,
yeah.
shit, no, really? Okay.
Really?
Couldn't have poured it in.
That's pretty even right there.
No, you're good. You're good. Cheers. This was great.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you like it. Like I said, to my buddy Ivan Silva, who we brought on, who's
I met Ivan.
yeah, he is like very much helping with our cocktail program. So I always like to give a shout out to my crew and give them the props that they deserve, man. So yeah, we like I said, we brought this out for our 420 Fest, and we realized it had a great response. And we were like, hey,
What's a
let's
420
keep it-
fest like at Eighth Wonder?
Music oriented, very music oriented, very much us.
Are people
pushing ourselves.
smoking out in the yard?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah, I've been.
to
yeah.
each their own. I can't say 100% sure whether that's happening or not. But
Could you smell this place miles away?
I will
on
not
420?
confirm nor deny.
I was a little too busy that day to recognize much on that
Yeah.
end of things. But
I
hey,
had a cold. Just couldn't smell very much.
I'll just say I was here from 10 a.m. to 12 at midnight.
So what
and,
about
it's a great
Slab?
idea.
Was it Slab Sunday?
Wait. Like
Is it Slab Sunday that
something?
y'all did like the big Slab event? That's like I thought it was
okay,
every
yeah,
year.
Yeah, man, gotcha.
I was
so
gonna ask if y'all are still
that
doing
was
that.
before my time.
So it's not happening.
But as of right now, like
Can
I
I
said,
get everybody a drink?
Sure. Yeah.
things are on the horizon right now. But I can actually grab it right now.
You know what?
yeah.
Let's just pause it real
Oh,
quick.
wait,
That's fine.
Let's pause
Okay,
it.
all right.
Actually, Ryan Soroka just walked in, and if you're talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
events, this guy is the guy that threw all the major events.
That's the owner, right?
I'm also known as DJ Sino. You can find me at least a couple of different breweries or craft beer bars throughout the month hosting the best music bingo in all of Houston. We'll be sharing those shenanigans right here on the Beer Someone podcast.
Okay, we are back here at Eighth Wonder, and we have a new guest, Ryan Soroka. Woo! Ryan, can you talk a little bit about your part here at Eighth Wonder?
Sure. Welcome, fellas.
Oh, you get you.
Yeah. Welcome, fellas. My name is Ryan, and I'm one of the co-founders of Eighth Wonder. We opened our doors in 2013. Sixth brewery to open in Houston, Texas at that time.
Now, we were just talking about it. Sorry to interrupt
No,
you.
please.
Right before you came in, we were talking about now, what are y'all in oldest brewery? And I think we thought maybe third that are that's
like
still open.
standing.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Yeah, I would say like third or fourth.
We were saying St. Arnold.
St. Arnold, Southern Star.
No
Karbach,
label.
No label.
So Karbach was open
Okay.
before y'all?
Yeah, they were. So
Okay.
I think
We were talking
Okay.
about that. Okay.
so that puts us at fifth, right?
You're at fifth. Okay.
Because at that time it was actually at Buffalo Bayou. They opened right before us, and then we were the sixth. And
I
Right
said Southern Star, but I guess we didn't.
And it was because of the laws changing in 2013, from what I understand.
That was a big push. I was writing the business plan in 2011, and at that time there was 2 breweries in Houston, right? So there was, in my opinion back then, tremendous opportunity. Fourth largest city in America had two breweries, right?
Yeah.
By the time we got up and running, several others were in that planning phase as well, clearly. And
Well, you're all right at the beginning.
we were the sixth, yeah. And it was, I mean, yeah,
Did you-
a big part of that was the taproom laws, people being able to come on premise and enjoy. And, you know, we leaned in heavy, really became a community center here in East Downtown, hosting a lot of events, block parties, concerts, festivals, tailgates, and really kind of saw this neighborhood transform and the craft beer scene transform. You
Big
know?
time, yeah.
And really the city of Houston too. I mean, our city has undergone, I'm born and raised in Houston, but it's a very different city than it was when I was a kid here.
Big time,
you
yeah,
know?
absolutely. It's changed a lot. A lot of influx here for sure especially over the past 5 years. I've seen a lot of people move
Absolutely.
here. Yeah.
No, you definitely captured me early on, and probably the brewery that's responsible for getting me into craft beer.
Same here, man. Yeah, we were
hearing
just
that.
talking about that.
Thanks, guys.
And 13 years ago or something like that, we were
Yeah.
talking about. And
Yeah.
trying a rocket fuel for the first time, and it blew my fucking mind.
That is a special beer for us that has a fun backstory. We were building the brewery here in 2011, and there was no one in this neighborhood, y'all. I mean, this was a very
They say rocket launcher, rocket
fuel. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, I said
Yeah.
the right thing. I sometimes do that because my brewery makes a beer called Rocket Launcher. So
I've heard him do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was nothing in this neighborhood, y'all. It was run down, and we were building this brewery out, and there was a few things open. One of them was gosh darn it, it's not even open anymore. It was, well, you have Huyn, which is still open, and that place is fantastic.
Fucking
and
amazing.
that fueled us with a bunch of Cafe Soudas. But there's a few other little Vietnamese cafes and coffee shops that all had Cafe Souda, and so we were just basically surviving on the Vietnamese food in the neighborhood and Brothers Tacos in the
I
neighborhood.
really
Yes.
liked Vietnamese food at that time too. So
And
you got me at
you
the
were
right time. I
eating
walked
good.
in at the
we
right
were,
time.
and
Yeah.
we were inspired, and we wanted to brew a beer that was, Vietnamese coffee inspired. And
That's
good.
cool. I
Rock
like to
fuel
hear
was born,
that.
yeah.
That's cool that I didn't know where that's awesome, man. That's
I
a
was
good
telling
story.
him my first time discovering Eighth Wonder, I was looking for a food truck and I saw an Eatsy Boys truck and I ordered a sandwich and they said, there's a brewery right behind this thing, and I went in there and I got the rocket fuel and it blew my mind. Like I
Eatsy
said.
Boys is
Yeah.
a blast from the past.
Yeah.
All
the food menu, the whole thing was Beastie Boys songs.
Totally.
Yeah.
That was another business of ours.
Yeah.
And, R.I.P. Eatsy Boys.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was a fun run. That we rocked that food truck for a long time, for over a decade. We had a cafe in Montrose for a bit, and then we parked it here at the brewery for a long time. But
Oh, yeah?
we wound down Eatsy Boys, I want to say end of 23. maybe end of 22.
Really? I
don't
didn't know it was that recent.
Yeah.
Was it just here?
Towards the last few years of the ET Boys run, we just kept it in the backyard, and it was rocking out here. Yeah.
I remember Black Market Birria was a big thing here, and that EC Boys was still, I think, doing their thing.
There was a little bit of crossover between that, and then Black Market had a big pop when the Birria
thing
stuff,
was a big
it was
trend.
like brand new here in Houston, and they
Yeah.
crushed it. That was fun, and I remember having like the early Trill Burger pop-ups here.
Yeah,
doing some
man,
fun
yeah.
stuff with Bun and that crew. I mean, you know, we have an awesome large venue. We love hosting people, and you gotta have some food here too with drinks, right?
You do, yeah. Even La Macro. That's probably one of my favorite taco trucks in Houston.
Throwback with the Trumple.
Dude, that guy,
Yes.
Saul Obregon,
Yes.
dude, that guy he's the man. He's my buddy.
Hey, Saul, if you're listening, much love, much respect. Miss you, dude.
Yeah, dude, that guy's awesome. Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's still doing the truck right now.
He had a few trucks, and he had a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Y'all, food truck game is hard. Craft beer biz is hard, you know?
Yeah.
Running your own business
It's tough, man.
Can be rewarding, but it also, of course, has its challenges.
Especially in the time we live in now, which we all know is really hard.
Well, you're at the beginning of a new market right now, and you're probably like the top of that market. It feels like in this area.
Definitely exciting. I imagine you're talking about our cannabis beverages. Yes. That was quite just kind of like opening up the brewery was all timing.
Mm-hmm.
Getting into this category, quite frankly, being a part of inventing and developing this product and this category, it was timing. It was a business decision. We saw alcohol sales declining in 2019, right? We felt the hyper competitiveness of the local market. As we mentioned, we were the 6th brewery to open in Houston. That swelled to well over 60.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
It's contracting now, and sadly, it's probably going to continue to contract.
Correct, yeah.
But we saw, kind of the pendulum swinging the other way. We rode this crazy rocket 2013 through 19, okay? And then 19, we definitely saw alcohol sales just start dipping. And 2018, the Farm Bill legalized hemp. And right around early 19, we started getting visits from a lot of door-to-door CBD salesmen from all over the country.
Yeah.
Primarily Colorado, California, Washington State. We tried a bunch of different products, none of which worked or passed our inner quality controls, and we kind of just dismissed it like, hey, this isn't going to work. And then we got introduced to the folks at Bayou City Hemp by way of Chris Shepard. We were working with Chris on some projects, and similarly, like, hey, we'd love to try, if you want to try making some beverages with our CBD. And we almost dismissed it. We're like, hey, we tried that, it didn't really work. And they're like, well, why don't you try our stuff? And by the way, have y'all heard of, there's now hemp-derived THC? I'm like, okay.
Right.
And that really like kind of caught our attention. And we're like, well, let's try what y'all got. Instantly, we knew they had the secret sauce. It worked. It passed our quality tests. It was consistent, effective. We were confident and ready to start developing what became Texas's first cannabis beverage.
Right.
One of the country's first hemp-derived
Yes.
THC beverages, and that was Wonder Water. So we met the Bayou City Hemp crew January of 21, and several months of R&D. August of 21, we launched Wonder Water, and y'all, like overnight, that became our number one selling product to go.
Yeah, man.
We've been brewing beer for 10 plus years at that time.
Yeah.
And then overnight, a cannabis beverage.
So you're like,
we're like, whoa, okay, people want this. And
that's awesome.
yeah, and it really has kind of grown from there.
That's really cool, man. That's great to see. I love seeing it. It's almost serendipitous that it was 8 years after you guys opened.
Hold on, let's do the math here. You said 13. We met them 21. Wow, that is wild. I haven't even like connected the 8 dot there, and I'm
I did some
always
math
By the way,
before
this
we
is
started.
our 8th podcast today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's our
That's
8th.
perfect, fellas.
eighth
We did that
Cheers. I wish
very
I
on
had
purpose.
Hey, yeah, no, you're good. Yeah.
Where's your drink?
I don't have one, and I wasn't prepared for this.
Shit, we needed somebody to get him a drink.
I want to hustle and get a drink. It's all good. I'll get something.
Cheers, man. This is great. This is awesome, man. Me and my
We're
wife
having
have
so
been
much
here
fun,
so many times, especially when it
I
first
still come
opened.
here all the
The old
time, yo.
location.
Hey, y'all know about tomorrow?
What's tomorrow?
I don't know when this
It
airs,
comes out
but,
next Friday.
all
Yeah.
right, but just May 17th, we're doing our annual Heads and Tails crawfish event. We got live music, cold beers, hot crawfish. So that's tomorrow. Free, open to the public.
Nice.
Sunday, we got a fun family arts and crafts activity thing going on. Memorial Day weekend, so this will be
After that
right,
Friday.
for everyone listening.
Yeah.
We'll have some fun activities. We got a live band coming in from Denver.
Y'all been on top
What kind
of
of
the
music?
events from
They're a jam band from
Yeah.
Denver.
Yeah.
It'll be good. It'll be good. Some Memorial Day jams. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Very cool. I was gonna say y'all have been on top of it for events for forever. I think you were one of the first, if not the. I mean, St. Arnold did stuff.
St. Arnold's been doing stuff
but-
long before we were even an
but
idea.
I'm talking about just like
Respect to Brock
especially for
and Lenny
music
and the crew.
Right.
music and I mean this right here. This was a bop, man.
Third year.
Yeah.
Third year celebration. Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
we did our first block party, and we had people swarm the streets. I actually think it like flooded, and some folks like kayaked and canoed over. Anyhow, it was overwhelming, and we realized like, okay, we've got this neighborhood. It's empty. We can do whatever we want here. This again was 2013.
You did
So
the
we-
events, right? You did all the events.
Yeah, but
early on.
part of something that I took the lead on.
Yeah,
right on.
This has never been a one-man show. It's a full
It's a
team effort
team.
in everything that we do, right?
Right.
Yeah, but the events have always been something that it's been a passion of mine.
Because like this lineup on I'm gonna show the back of my shirt.
Let's
talking
talk
about
about that lineup.
it. Yeah. Let me turn around. I'm gonna do the podcast.
I don't know, but we just did these events and we saw people showing up for it, and we want that. It just became part of what we were about and what what we love doing. So that event, that's year 3, 2013. All right, headlining is Black Joe Lewis. So great. If y'all haven't heard of Black Joe Lewis and the Honey Bears, they're amazing. Austin-based, I believe. Hot 8 brass band, awesome brass band out of New Orleans. A lot of fun, a lot of energy. Another really cool band from Austin, Walker Lukens and the Sidearms. He's actually from Houston, but he is based out of Austin.
Word.
Got Fat Tony representing
Yeah.
H-Town rap. We've got
Yeah.
Say Girl Say, this awesome band, I think also from the Austin area.
good
And then
show, man.
and then you got Waxaholics and DJ Gons, but really y'all, the stunner,
Dude, yeah.
the sleeper of this lineup, Krung Bin, is a small font band
Yeah.
here. We caught them right before they took off.
Right, now they're huge.
Yeah, I mean, y'all, there was like, I can't believe that they were here. I can't believe
I can't believe
buddy.
I still have this shirt.
Super
I know.
cool.
I can't believe
Su-
you saw them.
Super
I
cool
saw them.
bass player lady,
I didn't think you were
and just
selling
really
that
cool
shirt.
music, man.
I asked. I was like, they're like, it's staff only. I'm like, how can I buy one? I want to pay for it.
Yeah, I think you must have just worked your magic.
I talked to the right person.
Yeah, Mark Austin, much respect to you. He's always been very helpful in booking our music here, and it was one of those things where I didn't even know how to pronounce the band at the time, right? And he goes, just trust me. And when Mark Austin says trust me, I do.
Right, exactly. There you go. That works. So what more events besides Memorial Day weekend? What are there more
So
summer
Harvey,
events?
the team, and us, we're talking about some upcoming summer events. We'll plan something in June. We'll likely do something for 713 Day in July. We'll see where 88 Day lands in August. If it's on a weekend, we'll do something real fun. If it's
Cool.
midweek, maybe tone it down.
Right. 713 Day is a Sunday.
713 Day is a Sunday this year.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll probably do Oktoberfest this year.
Nice.
We took a year or two off. I really want to bring back the Great Taco Challenge, hopefully in November.
Nice.
And then we're going to try to bring a lot of live music here.
Is the Taco Challenge a eating contest?
It is a challenge so we've done this 4 or 5 years. Kind of COVID, we took a little break and haven't brought it back. I'd like to bring it back this year, but we get like 15, 20 bars, restaurants competing in the back. It was a ticket. It got you beverages and 1 taco from every challenger, if you could even eat 15 to 20
Right,
tacos, right?
right.
And it's a great event. There's
That's awesome.
live music. It's a great turnout. Hopefully we bring it back this November.
That's awesome, man.
That'd be cool.
That'd be a lot of fun.
I want to go.
I'd had that. I remember. I think it was a Slab Sunday event that I used to come to. I think we accidentally came upon it one weekend. We didn't have plans. We were just like, let's go downtown and see what's up.
Just stumbled upon
And then we
200
just sort of-
slab cars down.
like, fuck, let's do this. And like I had a practice studio at Francisco's.
Yep.
So we just parked over there and walked over.
For sure.
And had a great time. Paul Wall was here. LaMacro was here serving. So I went and hung out with Saul.
Nice.
He gave me some tokens. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, another Saul shout out. I love it.
Yeah, dude, good times, man. We love this place. It's so great to have you on.
So much
Yeah.
history here. So much.
What are y'all
craft beer
sipping on right
history.
now?
I'm actually doing the light.
Wonder Lights.
The Wonder Light.
Yes.
I've got the IPA, the
Yeah.
new IPA.
Wonder Light.
Well, new to me.
A little refreshed, revamped American
It's so
IPA
good.
recipe.
You're doing the,
It's so
the
good.
8 IPA?
Yeah. I remember buying the 6-packs of the IPA back when it first came out, and I really enjoyed
Well,
the
you're talking like the original IPA?
the Hyper 8. Everything
man,
was
that,
8.
That was that must have been 2015 or 16 when that beer came out. We kind of put that beer in hibernation, then brought it back,
Yeah.
revamped the recipe.
It was
Bruce,
pretty-
it was classic, yeah, pale ale.
It was
Yep.
8.8% alcohol or something like that.
It was a big beer.
It was a big beer.
Big double IPA. We dialed it back a little bit, made it a little bit more approachable, more
Yeah, it is.
drinkable.
I do think it's a lot better. I think you guys killed it. Yeah, but to be said though, back then I did like the higher ABV, so I took some of those beers with me on a road trip one time, and I remember drinking them in Arizona.
Listen,
and having a good time.
Remember the early craft beer days? It was like an arms race for the hoppiest and the booziest beers you could get, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying that
I was guilty.
Those styles
I was
aren't
guilty.
dead, but like that was a crazy time.
It was a
We are
trend,
leaning
yeah.
into a lighter direction
I think-
today in the beer
Right.
scene.
A lot of folks are drinking sessionable, light, crisp beers. I still mix in a
This is
bigger,
great, by the way.
beer. You know, a hoppier
I love
beer.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is great. I've been going beer, THC drink. Beer,
There you go.
THC.
What's your
Yeah.
go-to cannabis beverage?
I'm not going to lie. I've been telling him I love the drippy. I know that
Hey,
what
it's all good, dude. Everyone's got their preference.
love
so
the
you're
drippy.
a 10 milligram guy.
I'm at 10 mil, but I've been enjoying the what is it? The Wonder Water lime.
You need to try.
I've drank
maybe
2 of those now.
we'll get y'all the Wonder Water grape.
The Wonder
It's
Water
brand
grape?
new flavor, hasn't come out yet.
Okay, I was like,
Let's-
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get y'all a little 4-pack. Take that home.
Paloma's
Can we
my
try
favorite
one in
flavor
here?
though.
Nice.
Can we pour one?
I can grab one for you. I don't know where exactly we have one. Do we have one in the cold box? Okay. We'll snag some for you after the show for sure.
Okay.
Word. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. We're trying
Right
to
on,
get
yeah.
information.
No, we
out.
appreciate that.
Look, we got Wonder Water grape coming. We've got a new cannabis spirit. So I don't know if we talked about Ocho Verde, right? Ocho Verde is this agave forward,
Oh, I love
non-alcoholic cannabis spirit. Really great mocktails and such.
I
That's
used
under
it
the
at my
8th
St. Patrick's Day party.
Perfect. Well, that's under the 8th Wonder line.
I poured 2 bottles of it in there.
Big boy. Under the Howdy line, we've got a spirit coming out called Howdy Hooch. It's a cinnamon whiskey inspired cannabis spirit.
Okay. I like that.
I would suggest pouring a shot over ice, a little sparkling water, and lemon for a highball.
What's up?
We tried that, I think. It's cinnamon, yeah. Well, we did. It was like hot damn.
Oh, did they have some behind the bar
Yeah.
possibly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I baked up a pie shot at one point.
Yep.
We now have what's called the Naked Stormy, which is our rendition of like a darkened stormy. I'll definitely make
But it was called
I'm
Hooch. I
here a
remember
lot,
that.
so I
Yep.
get used as a guinea pig sometimes when I'm behind the bar. They're like, try this, because they know
We
I'm
have
in the industry.
Black label and white label. Black label's 10 milligrams per 1.5 ounces, and white label is 5 milligrams per
Okay.
1.5.
Word.
Yeah.
Nice.
You got the strong stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, no, I enjoy the Ocho Verde a lot. I think it's great.
I think it's
great
great.
mixer.
Thanks.
Good,
Yeah,
takes
it's
anything.
Pretty versatile.
Yeah.
And excited to.
When I show it to people, it blows their mind,
They're like,
man.
"What is this
They're
thing?"
like, I'm like, I gave it to my brother for his 21st birthday as a gift. I was
Great,
like, hey,
great brother.
Yeah, well, I was here, and I was trying to figure out a gift to give him. They're like, look at this new product. It's called, I thought it's Ocho Verde. I keep
Yeah.
calling it Verde. I always call it Verde.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, $40, okay. And then I brought it to him, and he loved it. He's like, whoa.
You can make little non-alcoholic margaritas. You
Yeah.
can do
We take
little
shots.
Riff on mojitos. You can
Yeah,
make shots
Moscow
with it.
Mule.
Dude, you
Yeah.
can do a ranch water. You can do a
Yeah.
highball with that. I mean,
You can
it's
add
versatile.
it to your THC drink and make it stronger.
Do as you see fit. You know? Choose your own adventure responsibly.
Just
Yes.
funnel the whole fucking
Yes.
bottle, Brandon.
Yeah.
Get it over with.
Jeez. That's
I'm a fan.
101 milligrams.
Yeah.
Please enjoy responsibly.
Yes.
Friendly reminder, these items will pop a drug test.
Yep, that's good to know.
Yes.
Yep. Delta 8 does not, but you guys have moved away from that all the way.
First off, nowadays, full spectrum CBD can pop a drug
Oh, really?
test.
Okay.
Any THC, Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, it can pop a drug test.
Wow.
all of our products. Yes, early, the first product we released was a Delta 8 product. Since then, we have
Because of the laws.
only, well, we actually did it prior to the laws, and I don't even
Okay.
think the laws are finalized yet, but we internally switched everything over to hemp-derived Delta-9 THC, which is just to clarify, the THC, the molecule, the cannabinoid that exists in marijuana is also Delta-9
Right.
THC. The whole Delta things were confusing folks. Delta-8 only exists in the hemp plant, okay, or excuse me, is in higher quantities in the hemp plant. But Delta-9 THC, which is the high level of THC in marijuana, it exists in hemp as well, just in lower quantities.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting, and how it's THCA at plant form, and then when you
And then if it's lit, then it
Lit,
becomes
combusted.
Yeah, combusted. Correct. I mean, look, there's biochemistry involved. This. You know what else also involves a lot of biochemistry? Brewing and distilling.
right, yeah, it all just goes it's very
You know,
symbiotic, very hand in
You
hand.
think beer
Yeah.
just exists naturally?
Yeah.
No, we have to take 4 different ingredients, synthesize it, mash, boil, ferment, pack it. There's quite a bit of processing
Right.
that goes into this. And similarly, there's
And you guys are just murdering it, like just killing it, man.
Across all, I mean,
I love it.
I love some of the beer that I'm trying to do. I've always loved Rocket Fuel, but the mixed drinks, that's a whole new element as
I'm
well.
glad you mentioned that. Thanks for bringing that up,
Yeah.
Brandon. So we opened the brewery in 13. In 2018, we actually opened a distillery across the street. We started distilling spirits.
I was a
for
big fan of that
4 or
place.
5. Thanks, man. 4 or 5 years. Y'all, brewing beers hard. The cannabis business is hard. That spirits business is very difficult.
Yeah.
And again, just with the timing of like lower consumption rates, we had to make it was really a math decision. The distillery could be better used to expand our production capacity for these cannabis beverages, right? And we also realized by surrendering the distiller's permit, we could apply for a mixed beverage license here at the brewery. And so for the first time in a decade, which over the course of 10 years, people always come in here and be like, hey, can I also get
Right.
a spirit? Can
They
I also
don't
get a
realize
shot? Like,
that,
no,
yeah,
I can't.
they
Sorry,
don't-
this is a
yeah.
brewery only. We can only serve our own beer, blah, blah. By switching those permits, it actually created a lot more flexibility here. And now, for the first time, we've
I
got
know
a
the
full
bar. Look at
right?
it.
You can
It's
come.
a wraparound bar
Yeah.
for people that
Yeah.
haven't been here
Yeah,
in a while.
for anyone.
Vodka, whiskey, tequila, limited wine options, shots. We've got signature cocktails. It's
There's something
more
for
well-rounded.
everybody.
Yes, there is, and it's just a more well-rounded hospitality offering for us now.
That's awesome, dude. That's really cool.
Yeah,
That's great.
thanks.
That's where the money's at, liquor, man. So like but I understand what you were saying. To get into that market at the time you were doing it, and it's just I can only imagine what it's like to try to do that from a small scale and try to compete with the big guys.
You're not even competing.
Yeah.
It's a different beast.
Yeah.
It's a different beast, and there was a big push and interest in local craft beer. We thought there would be a big interest in local craft distilled spirits.
I thought the same thing, and I was kind of like, these guys are
I'm
killing
not
it,
saying
but
it doesn't exist.
I was interested in it.
I think it's a very niche.
Yeah.
But the trendiness
Demo,
of beer
you know?
also died off too, to a degree, after 2020, and so that I think also was. But then what's also weird about that is now people are getting into the whiskeys and bourbons and stuff.
There are still some select spirits that are performing well, but it's
Old fashions are a hit right now.
I would say
Everybody-
Still, they just don't go
premium
away.
bourbons and whiskeys, premium tequilas, those are pretty insulated. Seem to be doing well.
Right.
But hey, I actually don't think it's down forever. I think it's cyclical, and I think consumer preferences change. And
Well, how do you feel about this younger generation of drinkers that are, from what we're seeing on paper, are not drinking as much?
They're not drinking beer.
I mean, it's definitely something we have to take into consideration and part of our shift into what we're doing.
I don't think y'all are having like a problem though.
I think having the THC is
I
kind
think
of
having the
bridging that
THC
gap.
is-
That is kind of what, honestly, you're adding to the problem. It's like-
I think all breweries right now are watching what you are doing, and they're watching what's happening with legislation, and then they're whenever they get the the clear to go,
Yeah.
I think they're going to try to catch
But
up to you.
I'm a
but
prime example.
I think you're
drank-
way ahead.
I
mean,
drank strictly beer for years, and
We'll see
and
what-
You see
how-
Spindle Tap's already getting involved.
There's been breweries all over the country getting
Yeah.
involved, right? So it's not
Turning Point. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
we are proud of is we are a fully vertically integrated cannabis beverage company and the only one in the country. We are not purchasing nano-emulsion or distillate from other people. We actually purchase the biomass, the hemp flowers. We extract the THC at our facility. We have a proprietary nano-emulsion that is best in class.
can we?
We are making control. This is important for quality control purposes, for supply chain purposes, for trust and transparency. I can't speak to any other product out in the market. I can only speak to the quality standards that we adhere to in our certified,
That's amazing.
federally approved lab.
You're saying
you
when
know?
somebody goes to like a smoke shop and they buy a...
I'm not even saying smoke shops. I'm saying there are plenty of brands out there that are just buying a kit from who knows
Right.
what or where.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure there's plenty of quality ones and maybe questionable
Right,
ones,
yeah.
right?
Like with anything.
All we can tell you is ours
Yeah.
pass all the federal checks, requirements, quality controlled, safe, reliable, effective, every single time.
We know what's in your product. We don't know what's in everybody else's product.
Can we explain a little bit of what nano is?
Yeah, of course. It is the technology where a tiny, tiny particle is encapsulating the cannabinoid, the THC, and that allows it to enter our bloodstream much faster than traditional edibles and consumption. We remember the days, or not even the days, but of just like traditional gummies or a brownie or whatever, right? The effects won't hit you till like an hour, hour and
Right.
a half later.
Right.
You know, if you
Wow,
smoke,
that's really cool.
if you smoke
It's
cannabis,
very cool.
if you smoke cannabis, inhale it.
That's how it hits you
hits your
so
blood.
fast.
It hits you instantly, right?
Yeah.
Few
It's not just because it's
seconds.
liquid.
The nano emulsion is kind of this in between, right? It's not going to
Wow.
take an hour and a half. It's not. You're not going to feel it in seconds, but it's going to mimic alcohol consumption. You're going to start feeling it within 15 or 20
Right.
minutes, and that is our proprietary nano. And again,
That's
it
cool. I
is
didn't know that y'all make your own.
fast acting, not long lasting. It is
Fucking science, man.
So I have an
It is
anecdotal
size.
little story about nano. So I got some gummies from somebody that had nano properties in them, and then I ate these little 5 milligram mints, and it was a weekend where my wife and kids were out of town, and I was like, I'm gonna go have a steak dinner at Outback Texas Roadhouse. So I'm gonna go to Texas Roadhouse, but I'm gonna pop some gummies beforehand and get really hungry and get the munchies. So I ate these nanos first, but then I ate like just some regular
traditional.
I guess illegal gummies. And I was like, by the time I get my food and everything, it'll be kicked in and I'll be like ready to go. It kicked in before I even parked. Like I was in the parking lot and I was like, fuck, I'm fucking stoned. And I was like, it's because of that nano. Kicked it in within 10 to 15 minutes. I was fully high.
Sure.
And I was like, wow. So I went in there, I ordered my food, kept my head down, and just ate my dinner awkwardly.
Look, there's different uses, there's different forms, right? What we're trying to do is create a approachable and tasty, sessionable cannabis beverage, right? You don't drink one beer and fall off your bar stool, right?
Right.
We don't
Yeah,
want
we
you to,
talked
we
about
don't want
this,
you to
yeah.
drink one of our drinks and be on the moon for 6 hours. It does
Right.
none of us any good.
You
right?
drink moderation, you drink a couple.
You can have, depending on your tolerance, and
Yeah.
just like alcohol, depending on your tolerance, you can have several beverages responsibly.
Right.
And that is our intent, and that is what we are set out to do. And we're also trying to normalize and destigmatize this plant. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. You know what else is a member of the cannabis family? Hops. Okay?
Correct.
We need to normalize this plant. You mentioned your wife and your kids. I've got wife and kids too. My kids for 10 years have been asking me, 9 and 6 years have been asking me, what is alcohol, what is beer, what is vodka, and I tell them, hey, it's a substance for adults only. You have to drink it responsibly. If you have too much, you can get sick. It comes from plants from the ground, and we have to make drinks out of it. When they started seeing the cannabis leaf on these new products, then they're asking, what's THC, what's cannabis? I'm approaching this and normalizing this. This does
In a
not
very
need to be
mature
taboo.
way.
Hey, boys,
Exactly.
just like alcohol, this is a plant that comes from the earth. It is for adults only. It's 21 and up. If you have it before then, you're not going to feel good. If you're not responsible with it, it's not going to make you feel great. But I want this we need to get over this.
You
right?
guys are
Like,
leaning into all these laws and regulations so that you know that you're literally going by the book.
We are 100% federally legal, compliant, every
That's
step
awesome.
of the way. And we are excited about this new industry. We get every now and then some bars or restaurants will be like, oh, but we're a family-friendly establishment. I go, are you serving alcohol? If you're serving alcohol, you can serve this product, right?
Right.
I mean, it is an intoxicating beverage like alcohol is.
So from a rep standpoint, I know I went into a lot of places over the past year since I've been repping for DECA, and I've seen THC on the wall, and I'm kind of like, this is new. And I've been asking people about crossfading and things like that. And that was a lot of people's, I would say most of the beer buyers that I talked to, that was their
question,
biggest
big concern.
They were worried, and then they started to notice it's not an issue.
It's not. I have
not.
a few things to say this. One is we've been serving alcohol here for 13 years almost.
Yeah.
We've been smelling weed in the backyard for 10, 12 years. People have been enjoying cannabis and alcohol for way before we opened.
Been one of
okay?
those peoples.
Yeah, so let's be real here about that. Number two, when we've officially, legally, and formally started introducing it on tap, we haven't had an issue. Harvey, have you had an issue?
No, if anything, it actually alleviates a situation for them. So
Yeah, sometimes people are a little bit more chilled out, right?
That's
But
really
let also just one back out.
Yeah.
More laid
I
back
could see that
crowd.
being
Yeah,
a
but
fact.
with that being
Yeah,
said, we take this
absolutely.
very seriously. We every single time we serve a beer or a cocktail to someone, we have liability, right? And so we take it very seriously. We are not here to overserve anyone,
Right.
And whether that be alcohol or cannabis. They do have similar tells, similar signs, maybe a few other things you got to look out for, right? But we make sure that folks can enjoy themselves responsibly here, and we've never had an issue. And again, I think it just comes back to it. Alcohol and cannabis have been around for a lot longer than we've been around.
Right.
And folks have learned their tolerances with alcohol. Most, if you've already experienced cannabis, have learned their tolerances with cannabis, or are learning now in this new form function of
Right.
beverage.
Which feels safer and more approachable. So I think more people
Correct.
I have family members that are close to me they've never been into it, but they know I'm into it, so they talk to me about this
Sure.
stuff, and they're like, it's a lot more. Like they can do a little 10 milligram seltzer or a 5 milligram seltzer, and they feel like that's within their.
Can I get anybody a drink?
I'm still good.
Okay, I'm going to have to step out, fellas. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, we appreciate you, dude.
sorry.
That was so great. Thank you
No,
so
it's
much.
great.
Thank you, guys. I'm glad y'all came.
Thank you.
I would love to chat with y'all again if y'all want to
Yeah.
come back.
No,
I
this
don't
was
know.
fun.
Absolutely.
It was
Y'all want to come back and live podcast tomorrow during the event? Beverages on us. You'll let us know. Yeah, if y'all we got to coordinate that. That's got more like clearance protocols and background checks
Heard,
and
yeah,
stuff like that.
for sure.
Oh, to go back here?
No, not here. Here's
Oh.
fine. Well, here's got some other protocols, but like the campus facility is.
Okay.
Uh,
I was going to ask
That would
you
be
if we
amazing.
could do a little video, like a reel through the brewery tour real quick.
we'll chat about that offline
Okay.
because we've got new protocols. There's other products.
Okay.
We've got it's
Nice.
not the same as it once was.
Okay.
Right on.
Yes.
All right, respect. Yeah. Yep.
Well,
Absolutely.
I appreciate you
Totally.
sitting down and
Hey,
talking with us,
Brandon,
man,
Yeah,
for
dude.
a
It was
good
great,
while.
man. Yeah. Ryan, thank you.
Thanks, fellas.
You have a good one,
You
Ryan,
bet.
not Brian.
Brandon.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, guys.
Can I?
That was
I'm gonna
cool.
go get a drink. Let's do another like 15 minutes.
All right, cool. I gotta pee. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we still going? Or are we breaking?
Oh, we can take a break.
Let's just stay.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
let's take a quick
another
break.
We're taking a lot of breaks at Eighth Wonder, but we've been going for a long time.
Breaks.
F your liver, the game that will have you salute the general, and then say the alphabet backwards, and then elect the president, and then bust a move, and then throw a ninja star, and then shoot your finger gun, and then roar like a T-Rex, and then freeze like ice, and then karate chop, and then bust a rhyme, and then bet on a horse race, and then spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and then make your buddy laugh. Don't touch the ground because the floor is lava. Tell a story. Eat my lips. Just grab 3 to 20 friends, a drink of your choice, shuffle and flip the top card, and let the chaotic hilarity unfold. F your liver, a game worth drinking to.
red. It's like evil eye.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. This is our final time being back here for the Beer Someone podcast. I don't think we've taken this many breaks, but it's been a lot of
Been a lot of little pee breaks and beer breaks.
It's been a lot of fun. I've been hopping between the THCs and the beers, and I'm back to Rocket Fuel because it's just means so much to me. And we have another guest now, Matt Black. Hey,
guys?
man.
Yeah.
What's up? I know you.
Yeah, right?
Y'all know each other pretty well, right?
Yep. Old homies
I think we
from
all point to
Ingenious.
Each other like, hey, I know you.
Yeah.
Throughout the time.
Yeah, man. You've been in the craft beer scene for a little while now.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You're
right around-
gonna have to get close to the mic, Matt.
Yeah, it's been about 6 years now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
man.
can you name some of the breweries you've worked for?
So I've worked for distributors as well. I worked for Full Clip Craft Distributors back in the day
Okay.
when they were around. I've worked for Ingenious Brewing Company, and now here I am at Eighth Wonder Brewing Company.
Okay. What do you do for Eighth Wonder?
So I am Northside sales rep. So everything on the north side of Houston, just working out there, slinging some kegs, getting some package out on the shelves out there, and getting the liquid weed to the good people.
Are you a drug dealer?
I like to think of myself as a legal liquid drug dealer.
The most legal of yeah.
Yeah. That's
That's
interesting, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you thought you were going to be when you were in kindergarten? The teacher said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?"
Actually, no. I thought I was going to be a doctor, so that just
You
kind of
kinda
went out
are.
the window.
You kind of are a doctor.
Finding the, that's actually a good point you bring that up, because there are a lot of people out there that do benefit from this in
Yeah.
other ways, from just, social relaxation. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of medical benefits.
I believe in
Absolutely,
that
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
He just from anxiety to lots of other things, like lots of things. Yeah.
Yeah, there was
Pain
a guy
and,
at one of my accounts that said he actually was battling with like AFib episodes, and that our drinks helped calm him down. He would just take like an ounce or two of Ocho Verde
It's an
at
easier, legal way,
Yeah.
and you can consume it. It tastes good.
Tastes good.
Yeah. No, that's fun, man. Me and Casey, we talk about this. We're both sales for our prospective breweries, and your sales. We don't. I often wonder what it would be like to sell what you're selling.
It's a lot of fun.
Is it?
It's interesting because it's like a whole. It's game changing. It's a whole new market. You
Yeah.
know, you can still see those people that you knew in the industry and those old accounts, but you're talking about a whole another avenue. You know, a
Right.
new type of business.
Something
And,
new.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. You know.
Yeah, and you do great, man. I just want to say, like, I've seen you in action. I literally went on a ride along with this guy when he first boarded on Ingenious, and I had been doing a little sales, and then he came on board and took over, and guy's just a monster at sales, man. I just
Yeah.
want to say that. I tell that to everybody in the industry when you get brought up. I'm just like, dude, they fucking can sell.
And just a
Appreciate it.
generally like good guy.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what helps. I think that helps a lot.
You're gonna make me
I'm
blush,
sorry.
guys.
I know.
Yeah.
I've never had a bad interaction with you.
Thank you.
We've done business together, and
Yeah.
and I enjoy working with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel is you what you give is what you get. You know, so I always try to be fair with everybody and treat everybody with the same level of respect, regardless of if you're at the bottom or top of the totem pole.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
you're very knowledgeable about anything you sell, no matter what it is, beer, THC products, everything. You're very knowledgeable. You're able to recall all that information so quickly, and that's something I admire about you that I don't have when it comes to sales. I can't just like draw up that info the way you do, and I sometimes wish I had it because I want to, because you get in those certain circumstances where the person they rely on information a little bit more than just, hey, you're a cool guy, you know, like they want a little bit more info, and you're just really good at distributing
I think that's
that.
the great thing about beer sales is that, you can either be really knowledgeable or you can just be a really great person, or you can be both, right?
Right.
And either way, you can make some good money in the industry,
Yep.
you know?
I think you need to be a little bit of both, and I think you need to be able to think off the top of your head.
Yep.
Be quick. And I think, and I always do this, but I think that's something, and I think that's something all four of
that
us
we share.
have.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Very
And
cool.
You definitely need that to be in sales, and I agree. I think you're a great salesman.
Thank you.
Just talking to you, I could tell.
Yeah, you guys are great too. You know, y'all have definitely left an impression on me as well, and a lot of people in the industry. So, what
So-
you guys are doing with this is great too. you know?
Thanks, man. We appreciate that.
Have you been
Yeah.
watching?
I have, yeah. I've been
Oh,
tuning in
wow.
to some of the episodes, yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
nice.
Hell yeah. So aside from your what you would tell somebody if you were selling a product, what's like your favorite thing here? What's the thing that Matt likes?
Like just personal life stuff.
Yeah, just what you
Video
like.
games.
I love video games.
Oh,
Love
I meant,
video games.
I meant at Eighth Wonder, but yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, just a quick
There are
rant
video
on,
games here.
on video games. Just love that. That's my pastime. Oblivion has been like consuming my
Video
life
games
recently.
and
Right
beer
on.
are my two favorite things.
Yeah, they go hand in hand.
Yeah, and THC products these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my favorite
Yeah.
thing about Eighth Wonder, there's a lot of great things working here. You know, I would say probably just the culture we bring. You know, like the team effort. You know, the communication is really great too. You know, everything just feels really structured, and that's great. You know, when you're trying to come up and build a new product. I think.
Right, right on.
So yeah.
That's cool,
Very
man.
cool, man.
I,
Yeah, the
I
people.
enjoy that about this place too. I always have. And we were kind of we talked about that a lot today about the culture of this place and the community they bring and what they've influenced a lot to the brewing industry here. The Houston.
Have
just
you always
kind of
been a fan
Houston
of Eighth
dynamic.
Wonder?
Yeah, Rocket Fuel's great. I mean, that was like my number one beer for a
Okay.
long time. I loved Rocket Fuel. I tried some of the other IPAs too, when I first got into the craft beer scene and some of their other styles, but I always just came back for Rocket Fuel. That was
Okay.
my go-to,
Yeah, man.
So I've always been a fan, yeah.
Yep.
We're,
Yeah.
we're at the close to the end of this thing. I do want to talk to Harvey still some more. Hey, Harvey.
What's up, dudes?
Hey, man. I love the Batman shirt.
Yeah, man. In terms of what we do outside of the realm of the industry and the brewery scene in general, again, huge collector. If anything, top 3 are Batman collectibles, Ninja Turtles, and Swamp Thing probably right now.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Do you
yeah,
What was the
Place that
last
people-
one?
Swamp Thing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely love
Dude, I used to
that
love
Kenner
Swamp
line.
Thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
dude, okay.
I grew up with the movies, primarily the sequel. I don't know why I was so attached to the sequel at one point, but
They were
yeah.
wild, kind of.
that movie consumed me in the '90s. So yeah.
I loved Swamp Thing, dude. I had no, that's a little more niche. I like that.
Well, that's what he likes. He likes niche horror.
That's
like
fucking
that.
cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, as far as just like physical puppetry and just
Wow.
like natural like effects. Yeah, it was a pretty cool movie.
That's awesome, man. Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you something, but I've been ingesting a lot of THC products today.
But no, yeah, I mean, I think like Matt summed it up at the end of the day, right? I mean, we are not only have we tapped into a new realm of like the beverage world, just to reiterate that, it's exciting to be a part of it. It's exciting to be a part of the ride of it all. What he was explaining too, was just like the natural reasons behind why people partake and why people are trying to now put themselves in this is because it comes from a personal level too. Whether it's people are trying to sleep better, people are trying to just be overall health conscious. So I think we are now helping forward that movement. Per se. Alcohol is still very much around, and it's going to be part of our daily events and activities. But at the end of the day,
You're making more beer than you have in a while, though.
I think so.
which is nice to see. We're fortunate and blessed with a new brewer who has been doing some new things, and we're probably going to experience some changes on that end, to come sooner than later. But like we explained, with Ryan, we have a whole new horizon with the THC products as well. So that's going to open even the door further. It's going to keep opening that pathway to where we're going to keep only gaining new audiences and the same audiences that will grow with us. So it's really exciting. Yeah.
So there's two questions that I think we need to ask. And one is first, where do you guys see the future of not just Eighth Wonder, but just the industry itself? Craft beer, THC, all that. What's your takes?
And while you're answering that, I'm going to ask you a question after that. And
I know what question you're going to ask. That was one of the two questions.
Is it the top
Top five,
breweries?
yeah.
I want to hear both of your top five
but we'll
breweries
do
in
one
Houston.
after the other. Yeah.
Well,
Dude,
that's
I totally
I
got
just
you
want
on
you to
that.
start
Yeah.
thinking
Word.
about that while we're talking.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so answer his first question.
Yeah, okay.
Say it again.
Yeah, it was just basically where do you see the future of this industry, craft beer, THC? Not maybe tie in how you feel about Eighth Wonder, but just in general, the industry itself. Where do you see this kind of going, heading, and all that?
Yeah, for sure. So, like I explained to you guys earlier, a lot of the foot traffic that we get in are from individuals from all over, the states and even out of the states. So we experience a lot of out of towners, if anything. I definitely will tap into that question. I would like Matt to explain it first, just because he is out like on the outskirts of town.
Sees it
and
in the
within
market.
loop. Yeah, so if anyone's not familiar with Houston
I
already,
would love to hear the rep's perspective
it
on
is.
that.
We are very much spread out. There's a lot of territory to cover. Like I told you guys earlier, these guys have done a phenomenal job of not only just achieving accounts, but like literally explaining what we're doing.
Well, you
on a
picked up
daily
some
basis.
great salespeople.
We truly
What's
have.
David's
and,
last name? David Flores,
and,
also a great
David's
sales.
awesome.
Yeah.
That was the first homie that I've met that is from here. We met through me being a part of another brewery at one point in time. He used to be a food vendor. He was doing phenomenal smash burgers. I'm sure he can still make those. I'm sure he still has that up his sleeve. But at the end of the day, these are great individuals that don't just try to make accounts because, hey, I need to make a quota or anything. They're actually explaining and helping this new revolution of the beverage world. So I'm gonna let him tap on that, and then I'll definitely answer your question.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think, just to kind of tap into that, I think education is key, first of all. If we're not out there educating our customers, we're not doing our due diligence, right? Because it is a thing that people have a lot of questions about, right? Like, where's the future of it? What is it? What are the effects like? How is it going to make me feel? All those kinds of questions. And I would say the future of the industry is actually starting to look pretty bright. I mean, we were concerned about some looming legislation coming through with Texas trying to ban the products, but currently as it stands, there's no bill in action that is effectively set to ban our products. There's going to be some, verbiage in there that might change, and some milligram caps and licensing changes and stuff like that.
Okay.
But as far as like accounts, I mean, they're super receptive. It's really just legislation that is kind of keeping things in a limbo state, to where some people are waiting to see when that happens to really go about it, especially like big companies, like grocery stores.
Right, okay.
But yeah, like larger format operations. I did see a statistic the other day that was pretty crazy that said up to 30% of customers entering Total Wine right now are new customers looking at the THC section, expanding their sales in other areas just because they're in the store, which is that's crazy.
That's
30%,
awesome.
that's a lot of people.
That's yeah.
And the industry in general is worth about $5.5 billion currently in Texas.
That's amazing.
I mean, that's nuts right there. That's just here. If you look at other states,
That's amazing, man.
it's around the same.
I wanted it on tap at Megaton. I think they're waiting to see what happens, but
Yeah, a lot of people are.
Yeah.
It's a fair thing. Like, people want to make sure that their business is going to be safe before they pursue something that they don't really understand. And I think that is just what a lot of places are waiting on. It's just
Yeah,
it's
not
just some
everybody
legality.
has 6 lobbyists.
I think
that
y'all are
kinda can
making
pay
a
attention to
great
this
product
stuff,
that is actually very affordable for bars to have on tap.
It's one of those things where it's nice because it goes hand in hand with alcohol, right? Like, we're not out here trying to kill the alcohol industry and steal alcohol taps. Like, it's in a position where we're finding locations and places that are looking to move something off that's not necessarily performing like some of their other taps are, and coming in with something that they might not catch from a drinker. If you have a THC item on tap and you get a group of 6 people, let's say 2 of them aren't drinking anymore, which is we're seeing an increase in people that aren't drinking. It's we're not taking away from the sales of the alcohol because that person would have drank anyway. At the same time, we're increasing the businesses, by giving them something else to sell.
Yeah, an alternative, because like I was just saying this earlier, you weren't here, but like I've kind of gotten to this point where I don't want to drink beer all the time. So we get older, we just kind of, I drink a lot for a little while, and
sometimes I want a beer,
I've gotten
sometimes
to
I
this
want
point
a
where I want to
THC
relax, but I'm in certain situations and scenarios where I want to imbibe. I want to be hanging out with a beverage. So I have gotten these THC beverages as an alternative, and I love it because it does offer something else that's very unlike beer, but you still get something out of it. You still get a nice little, I felt very, I don't know, I was at a craft beer cellar and I had a few of those. And I just felt nice, but I didn't feel that beer buzz, that heavy beer buzz.
I don't know if y'all are going to beat Tom. How long was that Tom podcast?
I don't know. Are we beating that, really?
It was
I feel like that was long.
We might be close to beating it. So
the only thing the only thing I just wanted to say too about it is it's it's incredible. Like it's such a great thing that we're out here offering, for people. And there, I still love beer, and the craft industry is near and dear to my heart. But this industry is becoming the same. I'm finding that there's a lot of great people out there, and in this industry that are fighting for this industry, and we're doing something too where we're introducing it as in a low dose format to give people that have never experienced cannabis the opportunity.
Such a great gateway thing. I mean, I'd say gateway. That sounds bad.
Don't say gateway.
I didn't mean to say it like in a negative way. I meant like because I literally just heard it. I heard the bartender. They're here to try something, and they want a
prescription thing that you can drink that can relax you. What I like
easily
at the end of the
approached,
day. And I'm trying to relax, that's when I smoke. I don't smoke throughout the day or the beginning. I smoke at the end of the day. So same thing with your seltzers. If I brought a 4-pack home and I'm drinking a couple of them, it's just an easy way to end the day, no hangover. I mean, it's chill. It's a chill vibe.
Yeah. And I think people just want to be eased into it when they're not used to doing it. Yeah. And I literally witnessed that earlier. I could overhear your bartender talking to some people that they're here to experience something new that they're not familiar with. And so it's like, well, where should I start? It's like, well, start at 2.5. If you're unsure, then start low. And that nano helps it kick in quick, so you know where you're at. I think it's really.
You ready?
Oh, top fives?
Top fives. I'm sorry, we gotta go.
So number 1 would be St. Arnold's.
That's number 1?
Number 1, St. Arnold's. Love St. Arnold's. Number 2, even though it's closed, is going to be Ingenious. I still have some beers in my fridge, so I'm still considering it as my number 2.
You can count closed breweries for sure in top 5.
So number 2 would be Ingenious. Number 3 would be here, Eighth Wonder. I put it at number 3 because I'm just near and dear. Those first 2 breweries are near and dear to my heart. St. Arnold's introduced me to craft beer. So Eighth Wonder, I'd put it 3. 4, did I already say Equal Parts? No. Equal Parts would be my number 4. You can't leave them out of the top 5. Super, super great. God, 5's hard. There's so many good breweries out there. It's hard to pick a last one. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, Elder Sun. They've been putting out some really good beers. I tried some hazes over there the other day that absolutely blew my mind. So I think they're doing a phenomenal job. But it's really hard to capture, just 5 breweries in there. Or even put them in an order.
Breweries, And I'm going to tell you, Eighth Wonder is at the top half of my 5 for sure. Yeah, I think it goes back and forth between 1 and 2. But it's just so many great memories, so many great experiences. My introduction to craft beer. I just love this brewery. It's just always with me, for sure. Okay, Harvey, top 5 breweries.
So the top 5 breweries for me, number 1 is going to definitely be Equal Parts, which used to be Sigma back in the day. I've been following those guys for that long.
That's number 1?
That is my number 1. So I'm going to go with Equal Parts. Number 2 will have to probably be, I'm going to go with True Anomaly. I've always appreciated the Pilsners and stuff they have done on that end of things. Number 3 is going to have to be St. Arnold because that was like a catalyst to me being a part of the craft beer world. I will never, ever turn down a lawnmower. I love a good Kolsch. That is a great, great beer. So that was number 3. Number 4, I'm going to put Eighth Wonder there because, again, they're right behind St. Arnold to getting me into going out to breweries more, and starting to gain that knowledge on beer. Number 5. Now, number 5 is going to be real hard. The last one. Out of local. Out of anything, the only thing
I love that the 5th makes people really think.
Yeah, I'm just kind of the 5th, the first were super easy. I mean, number 1's easy for me.
Right? Yeah, your first 3 are easy.
But I guess I will say number 5 is I'm just gonna say No Label only because they actually made me leave the loop. I was a little more curious to try. I'll give it to them. I think No Label did the Gillies beer at one point. So with that being said, as a huge movie buff and a guy that collects physical media,
are you a ZZ Top fan?
ZZ. Well, I have a fun fact. My grandfather's cousin was actually the guy responsible for the logo on their car.
No shit.
The Z.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have some relation to ZZ Top in that forefront. That
and they played at Gillies.
But also, I'm no stranger to Urban Cowboy, the movie. So grew up with that one.
Oh, word. Hell yeah.
I love
John
what they do with
Travolta,
movies. They're
So-
the best with that.
So
for sure.
I
Urban Cowboy.
I actually am not a afraid to say that they're number 5.
No, I love No Label.
Yeah,
and Tom's awesome.
Yeah,
Tom's the coolest.
very cool, man. Well, shout out to Tom. Shout out to them
the beers
for
are great.
making that relation.
No Label has a whole thing going on like on their own. It's like unlike anything else.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to end it as well, Matt put it really well with the educational aspect of it. Do not fear. Come in, try things. I feel like our staff too at the bar is very educational in that sense. I feel like we're kind of like a part of the marketing team to some degree. We're kind of like that third party. Like marketers. At the end of the day, we definitely every person I can say here that works within the tap room is willing and able, always able and willing to share. The information on what we do here and share the information on the seltzers. We will let you sample things. We want you to feel good about it. We want to feel good about it. So we just have a phenomenal team and we want to keep it going. So
that's awesome, man.
But again, I do want to also say, I think I said at the beginning, I love the fact that you guys are doing this. It is bringing like just everybody into the open as far as the industry goes, not just breweries. The staff, the team that it takes to make the dream work,
takes a whole village,
dude. The teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yep.
So I really appreciate that this is the actual thing. Thank you for making it into existence. So.
We were excited from the get-go to do this and wanted this to be the 8th one, and so
the
this
fact that y'all
really cool.
saved us out for the 8th.
Of course.
Man. Yeah.
Badass, dude.
I'm just so glad you agreed to do it. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, man, this is great, dude.
Well,
Thank y'all so much.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for.
Harvey. Yep.
We don't. I was gonna say y'all have another beer, but no cheers. But it was,
I'll cheers. Don't left-handed.
You cheers me.
You can cheers.
You're left-handed.
I said don't left-hand.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't gonna left-hand you. Awesome. This was so much fun. Fucking
cheers.
rocket fuel. Woo! Beer someone number 8.